Wang. Endless power of ice and fire swept over, causing Deacon Qi and the others to tremble. This is a domain? It's a domain. But this domain is so strong. It's too strong, this domain is too strong. My strength was actually suppressed by 40% in an instant. The shocked voice came from the Purple Cloud Pavilion's experts. The most terrified one was Long Lu, who had just reconstructed his divine body. 40%? You guys only suppressed 40%. But my strength has been suppressed by 70%. Long Lu said in fear. What? Deacon Qi and the others were also shocked. A low-grade rank 6 true saint's strength had been suppressed by 70%? How could this domain be so powerful? What they did not know was that the Icefire Swimming Dragon Ruler was a domain-type true treasure. Under normal circumstances, only Principal's Masters had a true treasure, and domain-type true treasures were extremely rare. Jian Wushuang, who controlled the Icefire Swimming Dragon Ruler, was only a rank 4 true saint. Even if he used all kinds of secret techniques, he could only match the divine power of a rank 7 true saint. If a Principal's Master were to control this true treasure personally with a thought, the Principal's Master could easily cover an area with the ice and fire domain and crush countless cultivators in the area. Even a rank 7 true saint at the peak of rank 7 could be annihilated. This was how terrifying a domain-type supreme treasure was. Now, Jian Wushuang was using the divine power of a rank 7 true saint to suppress Long Lu, an ordinary rank 6 true saint. Of course, he could suppress 70% of his strength. Heavenly Sword Marquis is much stronger than us. Now that he has used this domain, won't we? Long Lu was still thinking in fear. Suddenly, be careful! A cry of alarm suddenly sounded. Long Lu was shocked and subconsciously turned his head. When he turned his head, he saw Jian Wushuang, who was emitting cold-killing intent. Jian Wushuang had a strange smile on his face. When he saw Long Lu, he even winked at him, but the Blood Mountain sword in his hand had already flown straight out. It was the Peerless Sword Manual Star Dream. Qi. The sword light cut into Long Lu's divine body. The divine power of a rank 7 true saint, combined with the rank 6 absolute art, Star Dream, burst out with a terrifying tearing force, instantly cutting a gap in the protective armor on Long Lu's body. It directly left a bloody mark on Long Lu's divine body. It was just a bloody mark, but Long Lu's divine body did not completely collapse. He was about to let out a breath, but in the next moment, his eyes were wide open. He had already sensed that on the bloody mark, a terrifying erosive force suddenly burst out. This erosive force crazily eroded and annihilated his divine power. The speed of the annihilation was completely beyond his imagination. Poison, venom? Long Lu murmured. Jian Wushuang, who was standing in front of him, smiled and said, "Have you ever heard of cold blood venom?" Cold blood venom? Long Lu was completely stunned, and his eyes were full of despair. Cold blood venom was one of the most terrifying poisons in the primordial divine realm that targeted the level of the immortal saint. For example, Jian Wushuang had exchanged for the god-burning poison and the evil god poison, which only had a great effect on the lower-level immortal saint. Most of them only needed hundreds of thousands of holy elixirs to exchange for one drop. But the cold blood poison was different. The cold blood poison, even with the authority of a heaven-level member, required 100 million holy elixirs to exchange for one drop in the treasure pavilion. 100 million holy elixirs could only be exchanged for one drop. How precious was it? To put it bluntly, the cold blood poison was the most expensive poison that Jian Wushuang could exchange for. However, since the price was so high, the effect was naturally not trivial. One drop of the cold blood poison is enough to completely erode the divine power of a rank 7 true saint. Even if you kill a peak rank 7 true saint, you can only use 2 drops at most. As a rank 6 true saint, you should be satisfied if you can let me use 1 drop of the cold blood poison, Jian Wushuang said indifferently. He was talking to Long Lu, but unfortunately, she could no longer hear him because the cold blood poison had completely eroded Long Lu's divine power in the blink of an eye. Long Lu's life force had been completely cut off, and she could not be more dead. Long Lu is dead. Now it's your turn. Jian Wushuang's cold eyes looked at Deacon Qi and the others again. Oh no! Run! Deacon Qi and the others were scared out of their wits when they heard that Jian Wushuang had the cold blood poison. They did not dare to stay any longer. Can you escape? Jian Wushuang instantly chased after them while the ice and fire domain crazily pressed down on the four people. The four people were all at the peak of rank 6 true saint. They were powerful and had incredible speed. However, under the pressure of the ice and fire domain, their speed was greatly suppressed. Compared to Jian Wushuang, they were like snails. Boom! The dark light surrounded by the giant dragon suddenly pierced through the void and charged toward Deacon Qi. Deacon Qi waved his giant axe to block the attack. Even without the suppression of the realm, he had been severely injured by the dark light, let alone now. Bang! After the collision, Deacon Qi spat out blood again. His divine body was severely damaged, and Jian Wushuang had caught up with him. Whoosh! 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 Sword lights suddenly swept out. Wushuang's sword manual. 9th Firmament Illusionary Sword Realm. No! Deacon Qi let out a shrill cry. However, in just one exchange, this Deacon Qi, who was at the peak of rank 6 True Saint Realm, was killed by Jian Wushuang in an instant. Then, Jian Wushuang caught up with the other three one by one. In the face of Jian Wushuang's absolute strength, the three had no room to resist and were all killed by Jian Wushuang. Of course, in order to kill the 5 people, Jian Wushuang also used 5 drops of the cold blood poison, which was worth 500 million holy elixirs. The experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance who were watching the battle were stunned. For rank 6 peak true saints and 1 initial level true saint died just like that? How could a rank 4 true saint kill 5 rank 6 true saints so easily? Oh my god! Am I dreaming? Everyone could not believe their eyes. Some people even thought that they were under an illusion and saw something impossible. But after rubbing their glasses, they found that what they saw was the truth. 4 rank 6 peak true saints and 1 initial rank 6 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had really been killed by Jian Wushuang. Not only killed but also slaughtered. A one-sided slaughter. It was like slaughtering chickens and dogs, with no room for struggle. With the help of the 8th level of the Samsara Sword Formation and the realm of Icefire Swimming Dragon Ruler, it's really easy for me to kill these rank 6 peak true saints. Jian Wushuang was proud of the void. A faint smile appeared on his lips. Then he looked at the battlefield next to him. Whoosh! He moved and rushed toward the battlefield. On the battlefield, Xian Wu and Dao Dragon were fighting fiercely. Xian Wu had been completely suppressed and was even forced to retreat. At this time, he saw Jian Wushuang rushing toward him again. Trash! A bunch of trash! Xian Wu cursed loudly, his eyes surging with fury. He had never expected that his 4 rank 6 peak true saints and an initial rank 6 true saint would be unable to deal with a little guy who was only a rank 4 true saint. Not to mention being able to do anything, even they themselves had died at the hands of this rank 4 true saint. Dao Dragon was also looking at Jian Wushuang with a strange light. Heavenly Sword Marquis. I have been in the divine beginning world for more than 100,000 years and have seen countless geniuses. I have even seen the super geniuses of the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces, Dao Palace, and the Spacetime Temple. But I have to say, among all the geniuses I have seen, you can definitely be ranked first. A rank 4 true saint can easily slaughter a rank 6 peak true saint. Even I have to admire his ability. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, Lord Dao Dragon, the heart which is the only one left in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Why don't you and I join hands and leave the heart which here? Leave the heart which here? Dao Dragon was stunned. The heart which was very famous in the first heaven. After Dao Dragon fought with the heart which, he found that the latter was indeed very difficult to deal with. Although he was much stronger than the heart which, he had never thought of leaving her here. However, Jian Wushuang actually had such a thought. The Purple Cloud Pavilion and I have a great enmity. I don't know how many experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion died at my hands, but the premise is that you and I have to have the strength to leave her here, Dao Dragon said. Let's try. Jian Wushuang just smiled. Jian Wushuang and Dao Dragon did not conceal their conversation. and the heart which standing in front of them heard it very clearly. Boy, I admire you. Not only because of your talent and your incredible ability to jump levels, but also because of your arrogance. Even an invincible immortal saint doesn't have the courage to say that you can keep me. Are you and Dao Dragon qualified to do so? The heart witch's eyes were cold. He stared at Jian Wushuang. It might be difficult for an invincible immortal saint to stay, but it's different for me. Jian Wushuang just smiled coldly. As he laughed, he suddenly waved his hand. Buzz! An invisible power burst out, and in the blink of an eye, a huge barrier appeared in the surrounding void. This barrier was like an iron bucket, surrounding all directions, not leaving a single crack. A formation? Heart Shaman frowned, but then sneered. A mere rank for true saint casually setting up a formation, and you dare to use it to show off? How ridiculous. After saying this, Heart Shaman snorted coldly, and instantly, a majestic black fog surged out. This black fog condensed in the surrounding void space, immediately forming a 3-meter-long black spear. This black spear had a cold aura. After it was formed, it charged toward the barrier closest to the Heart Shaman. Hong! The black spear was extremely terrifying, and was comparable to a full-strength strike of a high-level true saint. However, when it struck the barrier, not only did it not break, it did not even budge. The full-strength strike of a high-level true saint was actually unable to break the barrier. How is this possible? The heart which was shocked. Even Dao Dragon could not help feeling shocked. The heart which has indeed used her true strength, but she could not break the barrier at all. Even if I attack it myself, I'm afraid it would be difficult to break the barrier. Dao Dragon muttered. He could not help looking at Jian Wushuang again. A rank for true saint can casually set up such a powerful magic array. He must have a treasure in his hand, and it must be of a very high level. Dao Dragon was right. Jian Wushuang had used the ruler seal. The ruler seal ruled over time and space. Although it was not a supreme treasure, its value was definitely not lower than that of ordinary supreme treasures. With Jian Wushuang's current rank 7 true saints' divine power, the power of the ruler seal formed by the formation could only be broken by an invincible saint. As for the heart which, although her means were very good, she was still far from being able to break the formation compared to an invincible saint. Of course, it was impossible for her to break the formation. In the void, seeing that his attack did not shake the formation at all, Xian Wu's face turned ugly. Boy! You have such a treasure that can seal time and space. You can use it to break the space-time seal from the beginning and then leave the heaven-cleaving alliance's nest. Xian Wu stared at Jian Wushuang coldly. Yes, if I wanted to leave, I could have done so 90 years ago when you sealed the space-time. Unfortunately, I don't like being forced into such a sorry state. Besides, you are not qualified to force me to use the space tunnel to escape. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly. Then he looked at Dao Dragon. Lord Dao Dragon, I have completely sealed the surrounding space. Xian Wu can't escape. Now you and I just need to work together to find a way to kill him. As long as we can completely trap him and prevent him from escaping, it's possible to kill him. Dao Dragon nodded. The reason why he was not confident in leaving the Heart Shaman behind was that the Heart Shaman's life-saving methods were extremely good. However, with the time-space seal, which completely cut off the Heart Shaman's escape space, there was a great chance to kill him. In that case, what are you waiting for? Let's do it. Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Dao Dragon's eyes turned cold, and his body suddenly moved. As if teleporting, he appeared in front of the Heart Shaman. Then he clenched his right hand tightly and threw a punch. This punch contained incredible power. When he threw it, the entire void trembled crazily. Feeling the power coming from his fist, the mental wizard's expression changed drastically, and he quickly moved to block it. Boom! Dao Dragon and the mind which fought again. For a moment, the heaven and earth shook. Jian Wushuang stood at the edge of the battlefield and felt the terrifying booms coming from the center of the battlefield, but his eyes flashed with a trace of heat. Rank 7 true saint. I want to see how strong he is. Jian Wushuang smiled with bloodlust. Rumble. Endless power of ice and fire filled the sky and rushed toward the heart shaman like a raging wave. Under the pressure of the ice and fire realm, even the heart shaman was shocked. This realm is so strong? The heart shaman was surprised. He had noticed that Jian Wushuang had killed Long Lu and the others. The ice and fire realm was a great contribution to Jian Wushuang's ability to kill them so easily. At that time, the mind which thought that the power of this realm should be extraordinary. However, he did not expect that he, a rank 7 advanced true saint, would be suppressed by this realm. His strength was also suppressed by nearly 20% by this realm. Before, it was a magic array that sealed the surrounding void. I couldn't even move it with my full strength. But now, the realm-type treasure is obviously of a terrifying level. What is the origin of this kid? How could he have so many treasures? The mind which exclaimed, while the ice and fire domain was suppressing the heart which Jian Wushuang also moved. He was only a rank 4 true saint, but at this moment, he had directly entered the battlefield of the heart which endowed Dragon, the 2 rank 7 true saints. Kill! With a loud roar, Jian Wushuang controlled the Reincarnation sword formation. The faint light surrounded by a giant dragon pierced through the void and appeared beside the heart which. A shrill sound of wind breaking was heard. The heart which waved her sleeve. A pitch-black spear condensed in the void beside her, and in the blink of an eye, it collided with the faint light surrounded by the giant dragon. Bang! A low sound of collision was heard, and the faint light was immediately sent flying. However, the heart which frowned slightly. She finally understood why Jian Wushuang could easily kill the several true saints at the peak of rank 6. Indeed, the power of his sword formation was very impressive. It was almost comparable to the attack of a primary rank 7 true saint. Boom! A terrifying wind-breaking sound was heard. Dao Dragon slashed with one hand, and a huge crack was torn open in the center of the endless black fog. Then a huge fist appeared in front of Xian Wu again. Xian Wu's face was gloomy. He was not Dao Dragon's match. Under the suppression of the ice and fire realm, he could only exert 80% of his strength, so he was at a disadvantage. Jian Wushuang was still controlling the sword formation to attack him from time to time, which made the situation become one-sided. In just a few moves, Xian Wu's divine body had suffered a lot of damage and consumed a lot of divine power. If this continues, I'm afraid I'll really die here today. Xian Wu's eyes were cold, but his body suddenly burst out with shocking killing intent. This shocking killing intent completely locked onto Jian Wushuang. It's all because of this kid. As long as I kill him without the surrounding barriers, no matter how strong Dao Dragon is, he can't do anything to me. Moreover, he killed my disciple. He must die! Xian Wu's eyes were red, and the monstrous black fog on his body burst out again. Secret technique, Voodoo World. Boom! The endless black fog completely exploded. This black fog was the voodoo poison from the heart shaman's body, and this voodoo poison was extremely strong. If an ordinary true saint touched it, their divine power would be instantly eroded away. Now that the heart shaman had completely exploded, the black fog became several times denser. The fog that had completely turned pitch black surged wildly, and in the blink of an eye it actually formed a huge sea of black fog. This sea of black fog was still wildly sweeping in all directions. It was as if it wanted to completely cover the entire world around it. The Voodoo World. The heart shaman's greatest trump card was also his strongest move. He had always been skilled in using voodoo. For example, he had previously refined a God Punisher nail for his disciple Chu Yixiao, and that God Punisher nail was refined from his voodoo. And now, he had perfectly displayed the voodoo poison that he controlled to the extreme. This move consumed an enormous amount of his divine power, but its power was extremely terrifying. The majestic voodoo world covered the entire void. Anyone who fell into this voodoo world would immediately be eroded by the voodoo world. There was no way to avoid it, and they could only rely on their divine power to resist. Dao Dragon was powerful. Even if he was covered by the voodoo world, he could still resist the corrosion of the voodoo world with his own divine power. He was only affected to a certain extent in the voodoo world. As for Jian Wushuang, the moment the voodoo world swept out, he did not have much time to react. He was instantly enveloped by the sea of fog. The voodoo world is the most powerful secret skill I've ever obtained in a secret realm. Any ordinary rank 7 true saint who falls into my voodoo world will be killed after a long time. Although this kid's battle strength is comparable to an ordinary rank 7 true saint, he is only a rank 4 true saint. He won't be able to last long in my voodoo world. At most, he will die in 3 breaths. The heart witch's eyes were cold. He was very confident in his voodoo world. Jian Wushuang, a rank 4 true saint, was trapped in the voodoo world. If he did not escape in time, he would definitely die. However, Jian Wushuang, who was trapped in the voodoo world, did not have any intention of escaping. He still controlled the reincarnation sword formation and continued to attack the heart witch with Dao Dragon. "You're courting death," Xian Wu sneered. While he was trying his best to resist Dao Dragon's attack, he was also waiting for Jian Wushuang's death. However, after 3 breaths and 4 breaths, 10 breaths had passed. Jian Wushuang was still intact in the voodoo world, as if he was not affected at all. On the contrary, because he was using the voodoo world with all his strength, his divine power was greatly consumed. In addition to resisting Dao Dragon's and Jian Wushuang's attacks, his divine body was constantly damaged and needed divine power to recover. Until now, he had used up more than half of his divine power. How is this possible? It has been 10 breaths. How is it possible that this kid is still alive? Xian Wu looked incredulous. He thought that as long as he killed Jian Wushuang, he would be able to leave safely. However, he did not expect that he could not kill Jian Wushuang even though he had used the voodoo world, his most powerful skill. How could he, a rank 4 true saint, resist the crazy erosion of the voodoo world? Voodoo poison! Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart. Previously, the god-killing nail contained extremely strong voodoo poison, so it could not affect Jian Wushuang at all. But now, although the voodoo world was much stronger than the god-killing nail, Jian Wushuang was still immune to it. Even if he stayed in the voodoo world for 10 days and 10 nights, he would not be affected, let alone 10 breaths. You've used your most powerful skill, but you still can't do anything to me. Then you're dead. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. Oh no! The heart witch's face changed. As Jian Wushuang had said, as long as Jian Wushuang was not dead, he would be in big trouble. Kill! Dao Dragon and the Samsara sword formation controlled by Jian Wushuang appeared in front of the heart witch again and rushed toward her. The heart witch, who had lost more than half of her divine power, was in a worse and worse situation. In the end, she could only struggle. However, the struggle only lasted for a moment, and she still died. She's dead. The heart witch is dead. The heart witch is a very famous rank 7 true saint. It's said that he's more difficult to deal with than many rank 7 peak true saints. Lord Dao Dragon and Heavenly Sword Marquis really killed the heart witch here? Most of the experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were in disbelief. When Jian Wushuang said that he would leave the heart witch behind, many people did not believe him. But it happened. Of course, it was not because the heart witch's methods did not match the rumors. It was because the heart witch had met Jian Wushuang, who had even better methods. The heart witch's best method was to control the voodoo poison, but his voodoo poison had no effect on Jian Wushuang. Secondly, his life-saving methods were also very good. That was why he dared to fight Dao Dragon head-on. However, Jian Wushuang's ruler seal completely sealed the surrounding void, instantly cutting off his chance to escape. Many of his escape skills could not be used at all. In addition, the Mind Wizard also had some unique skills. He could think of ways to avoid fighting Dao Dragon head-on, and then wait for the experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion to arrive. However, Jian Wushuang's Ice and Fire Realm, which was performed by the Ice and Fire Swimming Dragon ruler, also completely cut off this possibility. All the life-saving and entangling skills were restricted by Jian Wushuang. It could be said that he had met his nemesis. Since he could not use these life-saving skills, he had to fight Dao Dragon head-on. In addition, Jian Wushuang also attacked with all his strength. Of course, he had to die. Heart Shaman, this old man is very famous and has many skills. I didn't think I could kill him, but he died. Dao Dragon stood in the void and looked at Jian Wushuang with a strange look. Heavenly Sword Marquis, This heart shaman is an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Because of his witchcraft poison and weapon refining skills, he is highly regarded in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Now that you and I have killed him, we are in big trouble. Jian Wushuang's expression changed and he nodded secretly. I have accumulated a lot of hatred with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. It's not that the Purple Cloud Pavilion hasn't thought of ways to kill me, but they just don't have the ability. Now, it's not a big deal for me to kill the heart shaman. But you are different. If nothing goes wrong, from today on, the Purple Cloud Pavilion will try to kill you, Dao Dragon added. I know, but since I dared to kill someone, I must be mentally prepared, Jian Wushuang said. That's good. In that case, you take care of yourself. I've completed my task, so I'll take my leave, Dao Dragon said. Thank you, Lord Dao Dragon. Jian Wushuang thanked him and soon Dao Dragon left. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and an interspatial ring immediately floated toward him. This interspatial ring was the one left behind by the heart witch after her death. Lord Dao Dragon is very polite. He did a lot to kill the heart witch, but he didn't even look at her interspatial ring and left it to me. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. The heart witch was a rank 7 true saint and an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. She was proficient in voodoo and weapon refining. Her reputation was shocking, so she must be rich. Although Jian Wushuang did not have any treasures in the interspatial ring, he could guess that the value of the interspatial ring was more than that of an ordinary peak rank 7 true saint. However, Dao Dragon was not interested in such a big fortune at all. He kept it all for himself. Obviously, Dao Dragon thought that Jian Wushuang was the reason why he could kill the heart witch. He did not accept the reward. On the other hand, Dao Dragon probably wanted to make friends with Jian Wushuang, a top genius. Lord Dao Dragon, please help me. I paid 7 billion holy elixirs, but I killed 4 rank 6 peak true saints, 1 initial rank 6 true saint, and most importantly, I killed the heart witch, a rank 7 true saint. I got their interspatial ring. Its value has long surpassed the price I paid, and I made a lot of money. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He had indeed made a profit this time. Of course, at the same time, he had also offended the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion. The overlord of the first heaven, one of the 3 pavilions. In the first heaven, the Purple Cloud Pavilion had absolute authority, and all the sects and factions were extremely fearful. And the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were practically unruly no matter where they went in the first heaven. Very few people dared to make an enemy of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, much less kill an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Dao Dragon was the only one who dared to do so in the past 1,000,000 years. He was strong enough to not be afraid of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion could not kill him without the help of the Principal's master. Therefore, Dao Dragon was able to live. As for the others, they were all dead. Therefore, when the news of the witch body's death spread to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, the Pavilion Master and the elders of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were furious. When they learned that the heart shaman's death was largely due to Jian Wushuang, a rank 4 true saint, the killing intent of the Purple Cloud Pavilion's upper echelons was even more shocking. A mere rank 4 true saint dares to kill an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Kill Heavenly Sword Marquis. We can't kill Dao Dragon, but Heavenly Sword Marquis must die. Soon, an order was given. It was a kill order. Anyone who belonged to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, including the experts and disciples of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, as well as all the forces and countries under the Purple Cloud Pavilion, who met Heavenly Sword Marquis must be killed. At the same time, the intelligence department of the Purple Cloud Pavilion began to operate and frantically search for Jian Wushuang. Once they found Jian Wushuang, the Purple Cloud Pavilion would immediately send experts to kill him. In another secret lair of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, Jian Wushuang, wearing a gray robe and a gray mask, was sitting at a table, holding a piece of information that he had just received. Sure enough, after the heart witch died, the Purple Cloud Pavilion became furious and tried to kill me. Not only did they issue a kill order, but they even put a bounty on the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and all the intelligence organizations in the first heaven to find my whereabouts. However, this is exactly what I want. Jian Wushuang looked at the information in his hand. A strange smile appeared on his face. He had long expected the Purple Cloud Pavilion's anger and was mentally prepared for it. In the face of the Purple Cloud Pavilion's kill order and the bounty from the intelligence organizations, ordinary rank 4 true saints and even rank 7 true saints would be terrified. However, Jian Wushuang was not. Not only did he not panic, but he also looked forward to it. On the contrary, he was looking forward to it. The road to becoming an expert is full of obstacles. In this life, I rose up in endless territories. In the beginning, I encountered some obstacles in the Pil-Sun Sacred World. However, after leaving the Pil-Sun Sacred World, I rarely encountered any obstacles. There are very few experts in the endless territories. It's normal that I don't encounter any big obstacles. However, this is the first heaven, where there are as many experts as clouds. My strength increases, and my rise requires a large number of whetstones. The Purple Cloud Pavilion will be my first whetstone after I come to the first heaven. Jian Wushuang's eyes were shining brightly. If an ordinary person heard that Jian Wushuang treated the Purple Cloud Pavilion as a whetstone, they would definitely think that he was crazy. However, Jian Wushuang was full of confidence. It was his own strength and confidence in his talent. He was not worried that he would not be able to withstand the anger of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Instead, he was worried that the Purple Cloud Pavilion was not enough. Let the slaughter begin. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, and the token in his hand that recorded the information of the Purple Cloud Pavilion immediately shattered. 3 months later, in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion in the first heaven. In the vast void, 2 figures were flying forward side by side. They were a man and a woman. Their auras were very strong, and they had reached the peak of rank 5. A peak rank 5 true saint. With such strength, they could already hold the position of deacons within the Purple Cloud Pavilion. These 2 people were the 2 deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. As they rushed forward, they were still chatting idly. The ruler of the Hengshui Kingdom just now was very generous. Not only did he pay us enough money, he even prepared 10 million holy elixirs for each of us. The red-robed woman said. He's smart. He knows that he can give us some benefits, so we won't deliberately make things difficult for him. Some of the monarchs are as stupid as pigs. Every time, they insist that we use some tricks before they are willing to give us benefits, said the white-robed, white-bearded old man with a smile. Haha, that's true. However, no matter what, although the 2 of us aren't strong and can only be considered at the bottom among the deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, we are considered lucky to be able to get this job, said the red-robed woman. That's not just good. It's very good. You don't know that our current job is very lucrative. There are so many deacons in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. I wonder how many deacons envy our job, said the white-robed, white-bearded elder. As the 2 of them conversed, they were clearly in an extremely good mood. But suddenly, a figure appeared in front of the 2 of them without any warning. The red-clothed woman and the white-robed, white-bearded elder immediately stopped. Both of them raised their heads and looked at the person. The person was wearing a gray robe and a gray mask. This was clearly the attire of a member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, and the aura emanating from his body had already reached the limit of the rank 4. Who are you? The white-robed, white-bearded elder shouted in a low voice. They were rank 5 peak true saints. Facing a rank 4 true saint, they naturally had the right to look down from above. My name is Heavenly Sword Marquis. You should have heard of me. A cold voice came from under the gray mask. Heavenly Sword Marquis? The white-robed, white-bearded elder and the red-clothed woman's expressions changed drastically. They were deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, so of course they knew Heavenly Sword Marquis, who had angered the Purple Cloud Pavilion and issued a kill order. It's you? How dare you appear in front of us? The red-clothed woman shouted. It's just 2 dead people, why wouldn't I dare? Jian Wushuang smiled and said playfully, You should have finished sending the message, right? The white-robed, white-bearded elder and the red-robed woman were stunned. They were secretly sending the message to the Purple Cloud Pavilion. But Jian Wushuang knew this and did not intend to stop them. Since you have finished sending the message, you too can go to hell. Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. Then he directly attacked. There were only 2 true saints at the peak of rank 5. With Jian Wushuang's strength, he killed them in a flash. After killing them, Jian Wushuang left. When the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion received the message and sent them, Jian Wushuang had already gone to God knows where. The 2 deacons of Purple Cloud Pavilion were just the beginning of Jian Wushuang's slaughter. 2 months later, the 5 core disciples of Purple Cloud Pavilion were targeted while they were out training. All 5 of them died and none survived. The killer was Heavenly Sword Marquis. Half a year later, a true saint expert at the peak of rank 6 of Purple Cloud Pavilion was killed in a city. The killer was Heavenly Sword Marquis. 3 years later, at a neutral auction, 8 people from the Purple Cloud Pavilion participated. 5 of them were rank 6 true saints, and 3 of them were rank 5 true saints. They spent a lot of holy elixirs and bought several treasures at the auction. As soon as the 8 people walked out of the auction, they were immediately killed. All 8 experts died, and the murderer was still Heavenly Sword Marquis. 5 years later, in a country, while Purple Cloud Pavilion gave Jian Wushuang a kill order and frantically searched for his escape route, Jian Wushuang also set his eyes on Purple Cloud Pavilion. To everyone's surprise, he directly entered the territory controlled by Purple Cloud Pavilion and crazily killed the solitary experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion was a large sect with countless experts and disciples. Many of them were wandering in the outside world and were active in this territory. Jian Wushuang had his eyes on them. He got detailed information from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and then went to find them. In just 10 years, Jian Wushuang had attacked 8 times. More than 30 experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had died at his hands, including many rank 6 true saints. This incident not only shocked the Purple Cloud Pavilion but also shocked the outside world. Everyone knew that Jian Wushuang had completely fought with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. This Heavenly Sword Marquis is so bold and courageous. He's just a mere rank 4 true saint, yet he dares to fight the Purple Cloud Pavilion head-on. Indeed, if it were us, after knowing that the Purple Cloud Pavilion had issued the kill order, we would definitely try to find a place to hide. We might even flee to the endless territories so that the Purple Cloud Pavilion wouldn't be able to find us. We would wait for a few 100,000 years before returning. However, this Heavenly Sword Marquis clearly knows that the Purple Cloud Pavilion wants to kill him, yet he still took the initiative to run into the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion and kill as he pleases. TSK. This Heavenly Sword Marquis is really something. He is only a rank 4 true saint, yet he can kill so many experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion in such a short time. He can even kill a rank 6 true saint or even a rank 6 peak true saint. This is too terrifying. He is simply a monster. Monster? Humph. So what if his talent is heaven-defying? His actions now clearly indicate that he wants to fight to the death with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. However, the Purple Cloud Pavilion is such a huge monster. How can a mere rank 4 true saint be able to fight against it? Just wait and see. Before long, the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion will find him and kill him. Yeah, I think so too. After all, the Purple Cloud Pavilion is the overlord of the first heaven. It has been deeply rooted for so many years, and its strength is no small matter. After so many years, no one in the first heaven dares to challenge the Purple Cloud Pavilion head-on. Other than Dao Dragon, there is no one else who can survive. Although this Heavenly Sword Marquis is talented, in terms of strength, he is still far from Dao Dragon. Stupid. Heavenly Sword Marquis is too stupid. Countless experts were discussing this matter. These experts had different attitudes toward Jian Wushuang. Some admired Jian Wushuang's courage, some admired his strength and talent, but there were also many who thought he was too stupid. He should not have chosen to fight head-on with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. But no matter what they thought, it had nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang insisted on walking his own path. He knew what he was doing. Time passed. Jian Wushuang still roamed around the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, killing experts everywhere. The Purple Cloud Pavilion was also trying to find him and kill him, but Jian Wushuang was very cunning. His whereabouts were always erratic, and because he was a heaven-grade member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, he could get detailed information from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. The Purple Cloud Pavilion had set traps for him several times, but he did not fall for it. In a flash, 60 years had passed. Jian Wushuang had killed for 60 years in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, but he was still alive and well. During these 60 years, I killed countless experts in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Killing and attacking again and again made my strength improve a lot, but the improvement is not too great. Jian Wushuang stood in the void. His eyes were extremely cold as he stared at the information he had just received. The information said that half a month later, a new king of the Winter Snow Kingdom under the Purple Cloud Pavilion would take over. The Purple Cloud Pavilion sent an elder of a rank 7 true saint to participate. A rank 7 true saint, Jian Wushuang muttered. With his current strength, it was indeed easy for him to kill an ordinary rank 6 true saint or even a rank 6 peak true saint. Even if several rank 6 peak true saint experts joined hands, he could easily kill them. In the past 60 years, he had killed many rank 6 true saints in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. It was not difficult for him to kill a rank 6 true saint. If he wanted to train and use the Purple Cloud Pavilion as a whetstone, he naturally had to find someone stronger. That was why he had his eyes on this rank 7 true saint. With my current strength, it's not difficult for me to contend with an ordinary rank 7 initial true saint. As for whether I can kill him or not, I'm not sure. But even if I can't kill this rank 7 true saint, I can leave at ease. Jian Wushuang smiled. He had already made up his mind. In half a month, the Winter Snow Kingdom. Half a month soon arrived. The Winter Snow Kingdom was one of the many kingdoms under the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Winter Snow Kingdom's territory was quite vast. In the first heaven, it was already a large kingdom with many experts. There were 6 rank 6 true saints, but there was not a single rank 7 true saint in the entire kingdom. Today, the new king of the Winter Snow Kingdom had ascended to the throne, and the Winter Snow Kingdom had specially invited an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion to attend. The inauguration ceremony was extremely lively and grand. After the ceremony was over, a huge banquet was held, and countless experts were boisterous. Only after the banquet was over did everyone start to disperse. Lord Bai Yuan, this is just a small token of my appreciation. I hope that when you return to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, you can put in a few good words for my Winter Snow Kingdom. A middle-aged man dressed luxuriously smiled. He gave out an interspatial ring. The white-robed old man called Bai Yuan ended up with the interspatial ring. After scanning it with his consciousness, he smiled and nodded. Don't worry, Your Highness. The Winter Snow Kingdom has long been under the command of our Purple Cloud Pavilion. Moreover, they have been following the lead of our Purple Cloud Pavilion all these years. Naturally, the Purple Cloud Pavilion will not forget. In that case, thank you, Lord Bai Yuan. Please take care. The middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes said. Bai Yuan turned around and prepared to leave. Whoosh! A figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone without any warning. Bai Yuan and the middle-aged man immediately looked up. My name is Heavenly Sword Marquis, Jian Wushuang said softly. He said it casually, but when the people around heard the name, their faces changed. Heavenly Sword Marquis. He is Heavenly Sword Marquis? The rank for true saint who has been fighting with the Purple Cloud Pavilion for 60 years and still hasn't been killed. Heavenly Sword Marquis. You actually came to the Winter Snow Kingdom? A lot of exclamations sounded at the same time. Bai Yuan's face turned completely gloomy. Boy, how dare you! Bai Yuan's voice was cold, and he had secretly sent a message to the Purple Cloud Pavilion. He knew that Jian Wushuang was very strong. He was only an initial rank 7 true saint. Even if he could suppress Jian Wushuang, he would not be able to kill him. Therefore, the Purple Cloud Pavilion had to send more experts. After receiving the message from Bai Yuan, the Purple Cloud Pavilion's higher-ups immediately ordered 3 experts at the rank 7 peak true saint realm to rush over. 3 experts at the peak of rank 7 were enough to kill a rank 7 true saint of the same level. Killing a rank 4 true saint like Jian Wushuang would be a piece of cake. Jian Wushuang guessed that Bai Yuan had sent a message, but he was not in a hurry. He had already received detailed information about the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and had already calculated it. Although the Winter Snow Kingdom is a large-scale kingdom under the Purple Cloud Pavilion, the Purple Cloud Pavilion does not have a direct space passage to the Winter Snow Kingdom. If the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion want to rush here, they need at least 30 breaths of time. Jian Wushuang muttered in his heart. Jian Wushuang murmured to himself. 30 breaths was not a long time, but it was enough for Jian Wushuang. An expert from the Purple Cloud Pavilion can arrive in 30 breaths, and I have to kill him in 25 breaths. If I can't kill him, then I have to leave. Jian Wushuang stared at Bai Yuan in front of him. A shocking killing intent rose from his body. Swish, 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 swish. Purple long swords floated out and combined with each other at the fastest speed. The faint light surrounded by a giant dragon appeared again. It was the 8th level of the Samsara sword formation, the Dark Dragon Spike. Compared to the Dark Dragon Spike that Jian Wushuang used 60 years ago, the dark light was more dazzling and more powerful. At the same time, the 7-star secret skill, the Divine Punishment skill, and the 9 luminary star armor were all used, and the supreme sword essence in the Blood Mountain sword was completely unleashed. Kill! Jian Wushuang shouted, and the ghost dragon burst out. Boom! The void was penetrated, and the ghost light appeared in front of Bai Yuan. Humph! Bai Yuan snorted coldly. A green longsword appeared in his hand. With a wave of his hand, a huge green sword light, like a green moon, swept out and collided with the dim light. Clang! The sound of metal colliding rang out. The dim light trembled slightly before it flew out explosively. As for Bai Yuan, although he did not retreat, his eyes darkened. Rank 7. Bai Yuan looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. He clearly felt that Jian Wushuang had the battle strength of a rank 7 true saint. Not only did he have the divine power of a rank 7 true saint, but the power of his sword formation was also almost equal to that of an ordinary level 7 absolute art. Indeed, during the past 60 years, Jian Wushuang's comprehension of the principles had improved a lot, and his grasp of the 8th Reincarnation sword formation had become stronger. Now, he was fully controlling the 8th Reincarnation sword formation, and the power it released. It was very close to an ordinary rank 7 absolute art. Combined with the power of his divine power, his real battle strength was comparable to an ordinary rank 7 elementary true saint. And Bai Yuan was only a rank 7 elementary true saint. Again, Jian Wushuang smiled coldly and the reincarnation sword formation burst out again. At the same time he also moved. Whoosh! 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 Streaks of silver light flashed rapidly in the void like ghosts. Before the reincarnation sword formation could reach Bai Yuan, Jian Wushuang had already arrived. 9th heaven of illusionary sword. Jian Wushuang waved his right hand continuously. In the blink of an eye, 9 sword lights seemed to fall at the same time and slash toward Bai Yuan. Ridiculous! Bai Yuan was not afraid at all. He also struck his sword continuously, and his speed was not slower than Jian Wushuang's. Clang! 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 9 low collision sounds were heard. Jian Wushuang's 9th heaven of illusionary sword was faster and faster, but it was blocked by Bai Yuan. Boom! The dark light surrounded by the giant dragon also shot toward Jian Wushuang. However, Bai Yuan backhanded his sword and pushed back the dark light with brute force. Boy, is that all you have? Bai Yuan stared at Jian Wushuang with a cold smile. As expected of a rank 7 true saint. It's different from those rank 6 true saints. But, Jian Wushuang said as he waved his hand, and a large amount of ice and fire energy instantly surged out. It swept out in all directions at an astonishing speed. The ice and fire swimming dragon ruler and the ice and fire realm had completely exploded. The power of the ice and fire realm was extremely powerful. Even the heart witch, whose strength had reached the advanced rank 7 and was close to the peak of rank 7, was suppressed by nearly 20% of his strength under the full force of the ice and fire realm. Bai Yuan's strength was definitely much weaker than the heart witch's. Under the full suppression of the ice and fire realm, Bai Yuan's strength was immediately suppressed by more than 20%. Now let's fight again. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly and the Samsara sword formation burst out again. Bai Yuan felt the strong pressure around him and could not help frowning. Under the suppression of the ice and fire realm, he once again attacked the Samsara sword formation head-on. However, this time they were evenly matched. Although the sword formation was sent flying, he was forced back 3 steps. Swish! 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 The dim light flashed again and crazily rushed toward Bai Yuan. Bai Yuan could not dodge it, so he could only wave his long sword again and again to send the dim light flying. However, Jian Wushuang only used his mind to control the sword formation, while Bai Yuan relied on his own sword to defend. The recoil from the collision affected Bai Yuan's divine body again and again. In addition, Jian Wushuang had been looking for opportunities in the surroundings, so the situation was obviously disadvantageous to Bai Yuan. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang, who had been looking for opportunities in the surroundings, suddenly moved. Without any warning, Jian Wushuang appeared beside Bai Yuan. He slashed out the Blood Mountain sword in his hand, and a hazy but beautiful sword light lit up. It was the first move of the peerless sword technique Star Dream. Bai Yuan had just blocked the attack of the Reincarnation sword formation, so he was unable to block Jian Wushuang's extremely fast sword. Clang! The sharp sword light cut into Bai Yuan's protective armor, and a strong tearing power burst out. However, although the power was strong, it did not cut through Bai Yuan's protective armor. It only left a white mark on the armor. Ha! Jian Wushuang frowned and immediately retreated. After retreating far away, Jian Wushuang looked at Bai Yuan again with a serious expression. The information provided by the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is right. Although Bai Yuan is not very strong, his protective means are very good. The armor he is wearing is a superior holy treasure armor, and he has also cultivated a unique protective secret skill. With my current strength, I could not break his divine body with Star Dream 1 move. At most, I could only hurt him slightly, Jian Wushuang murmured. It was only a slight injury, which could be repaired with a bit of divine power. It had no effect on Bai Yuan at all. What Jian Wushuang wanted to do was to cut open Bai Yuan's protective armor, then cut open the skin on Bai Yuan's body and erode the cold blood poison into Bai Yuan's divine body. Just a drop of the cold blood poison was enough to kill Bai Yuan. It was enough to kill Bai Yuan. However, his idea would not work now. Boy, you have completely infuriated me. Bai Yuan stared at Jian Wushuang with bloodshot eyes, and his aura suddenly became violent. No matter what, Bai Yuan was a rank 7 true saint. Although he was not very strong, he still had his own trump card and killer move. And now, Bai Yuan was going to use his killer move. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you are a rank 4 true saint, but you have the battle strength of a rank 7 true saint. Such talent is simply unbelievable. Logically, you should have a bright future, but unfortunately, you are too arrogant and treat my Purple Cloud Pavilion as your opponent. Today, I will leave you, a top genius here. Die! Die! Bai Yuan's eyes turned cold, but he opened his mouth and spat out a pitch-black bead. After he spat it out, the bead exploded with a bang and turned into black energy that filled the sky, fusing into the green long sword in Bai Yuan's hand. Wind God! Bai Yuan's killing intent flashed, and he immediately drew his sword. He took a step forward, and the long sword in his hand suddenly stabbed towards the empty space in front of him. As he thrust, ripples immediately spread out in the void. Bai Yuan was using a longsword, but the move he was using felt like a spear thrust. The moment he thrust, a green lightning bolt pierced through the void and shot toward Jian Wushuang. Fast, too fast. Even Jian Wushuang, who was good at space-time principles and was very fast, could not help being shocked when he saw the green lightning bolt. This sword move is even faster than my life and death moment? Jian Wushuang was shocked. Among the 7 sword moves in the Wushuang sword manual, the fastest one was the life and death moment, which was a sure kill sword move. However, at this moment, the speed of the sword move that Bai Yuan displayed was obviously faster than his life and death moment. Jian Wushuang had only thought of defending himself against such a terrifying speed, but the Saiyan sword light had already struck Jian Wushuang's divine body. Bang! A low boom sounded. Jian Wushuang's body shook violently, and he suffered a heavy blow. The Saiyan lightning instantly made a hole in the golden armor on his body. Then, a bloody hole the size of a bowl appeared on Jian Wushuang's divine body, The black energy formed by the black bead also entered Jian Wushuang's body and began to erode wildly. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. He closed his eyes and felt the erosion of the black energy in his body. However, it only took a moment for Jian Wushuang to open his eyes again. As expected of a rank 7 true saint. Your move just now was quite good. Jian Wushuang grinned and revealed a cold smile. He didn't die? Bai Yuan was extremely surprised. His strongest move, which was combined with the black bead, was a sure kill move. Logically speaking, even if a rank 7 true saint was hit, the chances of survival would not be high. However, this rank 4 true saint actually survived this move. Not only did he survive, but it seemed that even his divine power had not been eroded by much. Bai Yuan, you've used your most powerful skill. Now you should try one of my moves. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. The next moment, he slowly raised the Blood Mountain sword in his hand. The sword was placed in front of him. However, this simple act of raising the sword instantly stirred up the surrounding space and time, and the surrounding void became completely blood-red. Yes, it was blood-red. The blood-red sky, the blood-red earth, and even the air were filled with a large amount of blood fog. Bai Yuan and the surrounding experts who were watching the battle even seemed to see the bones under Jian Wushuang's feet, forming a blood sea. The sky-shaking, killing, intense soared to the sky, causing everyone to feel a trace of fear. At this moment, Jian Wushuang was no longer a human cultivator, but an Asura who had transformed into hell. This was a blood-colored Asura. The blood-colored Asura raised the sword in its hand and slowly slashed out. It was a simple slash as if it did not contain any power. However, the moment the Blood Mountain sword was slashed out, a huge sense of fear instantly surged into Bai Yuan's heart. Whoosh! The sword light finally fell. The 7th move of the Peerless Sword Manual, the strongest move, Blood Asura. The sword light slashed out with earth-shaking power. Bai Yuan was about to block the sword when a wave of space-time power suddenly came. The space-time around Bai Yuan instantly became stagnant. This stagnant state only lasted for a short time and was almost negligible. However, in a fight between experts, especially those who had reached the level of a rank 7 true saint, many things could be done in a split second. At least, the sword light that Jian Wushuang had displayed appeared in front of Bai Yuan. When Bai Yuan came back to his senses, he could no longer block the sword light. He could not even raise his long sword with much difficulty. Bang! The sword light was not hindered at all. It directly cut into Bai Yuan's divine body. Bai Yuan immediately let out a muffled groan and his body suddenly retreated. However, his divine body was not directly destroyed. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. Bai Yuan's body protection ability is indeed strong. Not only did my blood Asura merge with the heaven-designated skill, but the power of his swordsmanship is also extremely terrifying. However, even such a sword attack without any hindrance could not cause his divine body to directly collapse. Jian Wushuang muttered, however, he was not disappointed at all. More than half of the 30 breaths time has been used up. In a little while, the experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion will arrive. I can't waste any more time with him. I'll use that move directly. It would be best if I could kill him, but if I can't, I'll have to leave directly. Jian Wushuang's face became extremely solemn. Blood Asura was the strongest and most terrifying sword move he had ever created. However, this sword move was not his strongest trump card. He had many trump cards, such as the Mountain River map, which he had never used. But now, Jian Wushuang had no intention of using the Mountain River map. He had another trump card. He had just mastered this trump card and had never really fought in front of others. You're lucky to be the first target of my secret skill, Bai Yuan. Jian Wushuang smiled. Cut the crap. Show me what you've got. Bai Yuan was not afraid at all. He did not believe that Jian Wushuang could kill him because of his strong protective ability. Of course, he did not want to kill Jian Wushuang himself. He just wanted to keep fighting with Jian Wushuang and stall for time until the 3 true saints at the peak of rank 7 arrived. Then he could easily surround and kill Jian Wushuang. Haha, as you wish. Jian Wushuang did not waste any more words. With a faint smile, the vast divine power on his body instantly surged. Splash! A large amount of divine power surged, instantly forming a huge divine power sea. However, the divine power in this divine power sea was being consumed at a crazy rate. 6 paths of reincarnation. Hell path. Extremely hot hell. Wang! The originally vast sea of divine power suddenly evaporated. Under the influence of the power of reincarnation, heaven and earth began to change. In the blink of an eye, the entire heaven and earth became completely red, as if it was completely in a furnace, and the temperature of this furnace was unbelievably high. Zzz, even the void was emitting hot air crazily. The entire world and the endless void seemed to be melting. So hot. It's too hot. How can it be so hot? I'm a true saint, and I actually feel like I'm about to die from the heat. Outside the battlefield, the true saints of the Winter Snow Kingdom were all inexplicably exclaiming at this moment. Their mouths were dry, and they were extremely hot. However, they were outside the battlefield, which meant that they were outside the world of extreme heat. It was easy to imagine what it was like to be inside the world of extreme heat. What kind of trick is this? It's too hot. My divine body, my blood, my soul, and my divine power are all about to be completely evaporated. Hot, hot. I'm going to die from the heat. Ah! Bai Yuan, who was in the center of the extremely hot world, let out a painful and mournful howl. As a rank 7 true saint with tyrannical strength, it would be a joke if he were to die from the heat. But now, Bai Yuan really felt like he was going to die from the heat and be roasted dry. His divine power, his blood, everything in his body, including his soul, were all crazily roasted at this moment. This kind of roasting produced an unprecedented pain, not just in his divine body and heart and soul. Bai Yuan only felt that he was suffering unprecedented torture. He has lived hundreds of thousands of years without this kind of torture. Jian Wushuang was also in this extremely hot world, but he was not affected by it. His eyes flashed with a fierce light as he looked at Bai Yuan, who was roaring and struggling crazily. This is an extremely hot hell, where everything is roasted and evaporated. Even a rank 7 true saint would suffer unprecedented pain and torture in this hell. With my current strength, I can last for 3 breaths in this hell. I don't know if Bai Yuan can last 3 breaths in this hell, Jian Wushuang thought. 3 breaths was a short time, but to Bai Yuan it was a long time. He was in the extremely hot hell, and he was being roasted every second. The pain that could evaporate his entire god body and soul was too terrifying. 3 breaths passed. Buzz! The extremely hot hell disappeared, and the world returned to its calm state. Bai Yuan was still standing in the void, but at this moment, his entire body was drenched in sweat. He lowered his head and panted heavily, and his body was also slightly trembling. That 3 breaths of experience were definitely the most terrifying experience in his life. He had experienced it once, and even if he was beaten to death, he did not want to experience it again. Moreover, 60% of his divine power had been evaporated in the extremely hot hell, and his soul had been severely injured, especially the fear in his heart. He had yet to completely recover. Heavenly Sword Marquis, I'm more and more impressed by you. A rank 4 true saint actually has such an incredible skill. Unfortunately, your secret skill is very terrifying, but your strength is still a little inferior. You can't fully unleash the power of this secret skill. Your move can't kill me. Bai Yuan raised his head, staring at Jian Wushuang. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang gave a strange smile and said, Bai Yuan, it's too early for you to be happy. Ha! Bai Yuan's face changed. I forgot to tell you that the secret skill I just displayed is divided into 3 levels. The extremely hot hell you just experienced is only the first level. Now, you can try the second level of the secret skill. Jian Wushuang smiled. Immediately, a large amount of divine power surged up crazily. The divine power also converged into a sea of divine power. Moreover, the divine power Jian Wushuang used this time was obviously much more vast than when he used the extremely hot hell. It was more than 3 times as vast. The second level of Hell Dao, The extremely cold hell. Buzz. The divine power in the sky was instantly exhausted. Space and time in this vast world instantly froze. It was extremely cold. Under this terrifying coldness, a large amount of mist rose from the void. Crack, crack. Soft sounds rang out one after another. When the people outside the battlefield saw it, they could not help but widen their eyes. These soft cracking sounds were the sounds of the void being frozen and then exploding. How could such a stable space in the divine beginning world be frozen to the point of cracking? How cold was this? In the center of the extremely cold hell, Bai Yuan's eyes were wide open. He had been maintaining this posture, but his divine body had been completely frozen into an ice sculpture. Not just his divine body, the blood in his body had also been completely frozen, and even his real soul had been frozen into a frozen state. Jian Wushuang stood in front of Bai Yuan and blew lightly. With a sound like glass breaking, Bai Yuan's divine body directly shattered and turned into ice chips. He did not recombine his divine body immediately. In just a moment, this powerful rank 7 true saint was turned into ashes. Seeing this scene, even Jian Wushuang was quite excited. He looked at his right hand. On the back of his hand, there was an ancient golden character. When Jian Wushuang had just used the secret skill, the golden character also emitted a dazzling light, which made Jian Wushuang use the secret skill. Its power had increased a lot, and this golden character was the origin of the 6 paths of reincarnation secret skill. 6 paths of reincarnation. This secret skill is too terrifying, Jian Wushuang exclaimed. 6 paths of reincarnation, 6 secret skills. He had only mastered the first move, Hell Dao. However, Hell Dao was divided into 3 levels. He had just used the first and second levels of extremely hot hell and extremely cold hell. The power of the extremely hot hell was weaker, but the extremely cold hell was extremely terrifying. Jian Wushuang was only barely able to use the extremely cold hell. Once he used it, even a rank 7 true saint would not be able to resist and would be frozen to death. However, Jian Wushuang knew very well that the most terrifying part of the 3 levels of Hell Dao was the final 3 levels. The 3rd level was called the Solitary Hell. That was a truly nightmarish skill, but unfortunately, he had yet to master the 3rd level. The first Hell Dao is so powerful. I wonder what the other 5 Daos will do. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, full of expectation. After killing Bai Yuan and picking up the interspatial ring left by him, Jian Wushuang immediately left. It only took him 25 breaths to kill Bai Yuan, and it took the Purple Cloud Pavilion experts 5 breaths to arrive. That was enough time for Jian Wushuang to leave. After Jian Wushuang left, the experts of the Winter Snow Kingdom were in an uproar. Lord Bai Yuan was killed? Heavenly Sword Marquis, he really killed Lord Bai Yuan. He is a rank 7 true saint. King? Many people looked at the middle-aged man in luxurious clothes, King of Winter Snow Kingdom. The Winter Snow King was also very excited. Apparently, he had not fully recovered from the scene. After a while, he took a deep breath and immediately looked at a true saint next to him. Did you record the fierce battle between Heavenly Sword Marquis Lord Bai Yuan? Yes, that true saint replied. That's good. The experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion will arrive soon. We only need to show them the mirror image. Heavenly Sword Marquis is too strong. We are not weak at all. Lord Bai Yuan's death is not our fault. The Winter Snow King said in a low voice. Also, we have to announce the mirror image. Announce it completely? The people around were stunned. That's right. The divine beginning realm is extremely cruel. It's not that easy for an expert to rise up. And this Heavenly Sword Marquis, his talent is too terrifying. His potential is limitless. And for such a genius with such great potential, he will more or less be envied and ostracized by some people. As long as we announce this mirror image, many experts of the divine beginning realm, including some high and mighty principles masters, will most likely pay attention to him. It's not a good thing to be the center of attention, the Winter Snow Kingdom said with a cold smile. Soon, the Winter Snow Kingdom released the mirror image. In the past 60 years, the battle between Jian Wushuang and the Purple Cloud Pavilion for the first heaven was very fierce. and it had become a hot topic among many cultivators. Although it was a topic, it did not cause much of a stir. However, after the Winter Snow Kingdom released the mirror image of the battle between Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan, the first heaven, including the third heaven, could no longer remain calm. After all, Jian Wushuang had killed a rank 7 true saint. Abnormal. This is too abnormal. Where did this heavenly sword marquis come from? It was already unbelievable that he could kill a rank 6 peak true saint with a rank 4 true saint. But now, he actually killed a rank 7 true saint? That's a rank 7 true saint. In the first heaven, the strongest person in many forces is only a rank 7 true saint. There are many geniuses in the divine beginning realm. For example, the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces, the Tao Palace, and the Temporal Temple all have many top geniuses. Some of them are extremely dazzling, but I've never heard of anyone who could kill a rank 7 true saint with a rank 4 true saint. If Jian Wushuang doesn't die, his future achievements will be unimaginable. Jian Wushuang. Monster. All the experts in the third heaven who heard about this and saw the mirror image were shocked by Jian Wushuang's battle strength. The words Jian Wushuang resounded throughout the third heaven in a very short time. 1. Monster, monster. Great pervert. All the names were addressed to Jian Wushuang. In the vast chaotic void, Mo Shan, the three-eyed man, and the blue-haired woman were sitting together. In the void in front of them, there was a huge mirror image, which was the mirror image of the fierce battle between Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan. Haha! I knew that Heavenly Sword Marquis might give me a surprise. He really gave me a big surprise. Mo Shan stroked his white beard and laughed heartily. More than 100 years ago, when Jian Wushuang was trapped in the mystic realm of the heaven-cleaving alliance by the Heart Witch, Mo Shan had been looking forward to Jian Wushuang. He knew that since Jian Wushuang refused his help, he must be confident that he could deal with this situation. As expected, 90 years later, Jian Wushuang hired Dao Dragon at a great price. In addition, he killed the Heart Witch and the others with his battle strength, which was enough to defeat a rank 6 true saint. At that time, he was very excited. Now, 60 years later, Jian Wushuang had killed a rank 7 true saint directly. This heavenly sword marquis is indeed a bit too heaven-defying. The three-eyed man also said in a low voice, "There are many geniuses in the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. Although this time there aren't many dazzling geniuses in history, there have been incredible geniuses in the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. For example, the super genius Remnant King, 8 million years ago, was a complete monster. He could also kill a rank 6 true saint with rank 4 battle strength. If he met a weaker rank 6 peak true saint, he could also kill him if he was lucky. The reason why Remnant King's battle strength is so strong is that he is a special life form, and he has a high comprehension of the principles under the careful cultivation of the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. He also has a supreme treasure in terms of attack. However, Heavenly Sword Marquis, without the careful cultivation of the major forces, only relied on himself to obtain opportunities and treasures to grow. In the end, his battle strength is much more terrifying than that of Remnant King. It's really shocking. The three-eyed man was, after all, a principles master, so he had high expectations. He had lived for a long time and had seen many amazing geniuses, but none of them were comparable to Jian Wushuang. Do you think Heavenly Sword Marquis is also a special life form? Mo Shan suddenly asked. Definitely, the three-eyed man said with certainty. He is definitely a special life form, and he must be one of the top ones. Otherwise, his divine power wouldn't be so powerful. Yeah, I think so too. Mo Shan nodded slightly. But even if he is a special life form, to be able to have such combat strength is already very impressive. Moreover, his opportunities are indeed abundant. Looking at this scene, the reason why he was able to kill the rank 7 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion was because of the secret technique he used at the end. And that secret technique, if I'm not mistaken, is the secret technique he comprehended under the Black God Pillar of the heaven-cleaving mystic realm, the 6 paths of reincarnation. His battle strength is obviously similar to that rank 7 true saint, but he used this secret technique and easily killed that rank 7 true saint. The secret technique in the Black God Pillar is really amazing. Shan and the three-eyed man both sighed in admiration at the might of the 6 paths of reincarnation secret technique. At the same time, both of them felt a trace of envy in their hearts. Such a powerful secret technique was something that even the principal's masters yearned for, but unfortunately, they did not have the opportunity. The blue-haired woman was the only one who had been staring at the scene with a solemn expression. Shan, the blue-haired woman finally spoke. You only paid attention to the last secret skill of Heavenly Sword Marquis. Didn't you notice the many secret skills he used from the beginning? What secret skill? Shan and the three-eyed man looked over. Oh, it's the huge golden emperor phantom behind him and the dark gold armor on his body. The green-haired woman pointed at Jian Wushuang in the picture. Shan and the three-eyed man immediately looked over, but they did not see anything at first. The golden emperor phantom and the dark gold armor on his body should be secret skills that he used. These 2 secret skills have greatly enhanced his divine power, but such secret skills are not rare in the divine beginning world. Right? Shan asked. This type of secret technique isn't rare, but the 2 secret techniques that Heavenly Sword Marquis used are much rarer, the green-haired woman said. What do you mean? Shan asked. Don't keep us in suspense. Just tell us what you've seen, the three-eyed man urged. You two, you've both lived for millions of years. You've lived for tens of millions of years. Your knowledge is extraordinary. I think you've all heard of the 7-star mysterious sect, the green-haired woman said seriously. 7-star mysterious sect? Shan and the three-eyed man were shocked. The 7-star mysterious sect was once the overlord of the divine beginning realm. It's the oldest and strongest sect. Of course, the 2 of us have heard of it, Shan said. Although the 7-star mysterious sect had been destroyed for many years and had not been mentioned for many years, as the masters of the rules, they were qualified to know some of the secrets of the divine beginning realm. As for the 7-star mysterious sect, of course, they had heard of it. It is said that when the 7-star mysterious sect was at its peak, even the 3 great saint domains could not compare to it. Only when the 3 great saint domains joined hands would they have the right to compete with the 7-star mysterious sect. Although our heaven-cleaving alliance is now the #1 free alliance in the divine beginning realm, our strength and foundation are extremely powerful. If we were to fight against 1 great saint domain alone, we could easily gain the upper hand. However, once the 2 great saint domains join hands, I'm afraid that our heaven-destroying alliance would not be able to defeat them. If the 3 great saint domains join hands, even our heaven-cleaving alliance would have no choice but to retreat. At its peak, the 7-star mysterious sect could contend against the 3 great saint domains at the same time. The three-eyed man's voice was a little agitated. They had all heard some legends about the 7-star mysterious sect. They were also filled with yearning for such an ancient and powerful super sect. But unfortunately, this sect was destroyed many years ago. The three-eyed man sighed softly. Biyun, we are talking about the Heavenly Sword Marquis. Why are you talking about the 7-star mysterious sect? Could it be that this little guy has something to do with the 7-star mysterious sect? Shan looked at the green-haired woman. I don't know whether it has something to do with him or not, but I know that the secret technique that the Heavenly Sword Marquis used came from the 7-star mysterious sect, the green-haired woman said. What? Shan and the three-eyed man were shocked. Biyun, are you sure? Shan immediately asked. I'm sure. The green-haired woman nodded. I've studied the 7-star mysterious sect for a period of time, and I know that the 7-star mysterious sect had 5 strongest secret techniques at their peak. I've also seen the mirror images of some of the 7-star mysterious sect's experts using these 5 secret techniques. I can be sure that among the secret techniques that Heavenly Sword Marquis used, the huge golden emperor phantom behind him is one of the 5 great secret techniques of the 7-star mysterious sect, the Heaven Punisher. As for the dark golden armor that appeared on his body, it was one of the 5 great secret arts of the 7-star mysterious sect, the 9 luminary star armor. Also, you should have noticed that when he was fighting with the rank 7 true saint from the Purple Cloud Pavilion at first, the divine power aura he emitted was only at the peak of rank 4, but later on, his aura suddenly increased and reached the level of a rank 5 true saint. He obviously used secret art that could increase his realm in a short period of time, and this secret art should be one of the 5 great secret arts of the 7-star mysterious sect, the 7-star secret art. Among the 5 strongest secret techniques of the 7-star mysterious sect, the Heavenly Sword Marquis cultivated 3 of them. Do you think he has any relationship with the 7-star mysterious sect? The green-haired woman looked at Emotion and the 3-eyed man. This, Emotion and the 3-eyed man looked at each other with a trace of shock in their eyes. If I'm not wrong, he must have been lucky and obtained the ancient inheritance of the 7-star mysterious sect. Or he must have met a peak expert who survived the 7-star mysterious sect and became the disciple of that expert and learned these 3 secret techniques. But no matter what, he must have some connection with the 7-star mysterious sect. The green-haired woman continued. Originally, it was normal for a cultivator to be lucky enough to obtain the sect's inheritance, or become a disciple of a top-tier expert. However, the 7-star mysterious sect is different. The 7-star mysterious sect is the public enemy of all the great factions in the 3rd heaven. The 3 great saint realms, the 4 great divine clans, and the 8 directions celestial sect once joined hands to attack the 7-star divine realm. The 7-star mysterious sect was also destroyed because of this. Over a long period of time, the 3 great saint realm masters in the 3 great saint realms have been paying attention to the 7-star mysterious sect. Anyone who is related to the 7-star mysterious sect will be killed without mercy. And now, this Heavenly Sword Marquis has the 3 great secret arts of the 7-star mysterious sect. And the scene of him fighting with the rank 7 true saint from the Purple Cloud Pavilion has spread all over the 3rd heaven. It's impossible for the 3 great saint realms not to notice it. Moreover, since I can recognize the secret arts that the Heavenly Sword Marquis used, it's impossible for the experts from the 3 great saint realms who have a deeper relationship with the 7-star mysterious sect not to recognize it. Wait, you mean? Emotion narrowed his eyes as he stared at the green-haired lady. You should be able to guess what the 3 great saint realms will do if they find out that the Heavenly Sword Marquis possesses the secret techniques of the 3 7-star mysterious sect. The green-haired lady said. A sharp glint shot out from Emotion's eyes. Emotion, don't be rash, the green-haired lady hurriedly said. I know that you admire the Heavenly Sword Marquis very much, but he is still one of the 3 great saint realms. I understand. Emotion took a deep breath and nodded slightly. Don't worry, I know what to do. I don't dare to provoke the 3 great saint-level experts, but I need to remind that little fellow that the 3 great saint-level experts won't come and kill me directly. Right? It's just a reminder. There's no problem. In addition, the reason why Heavenly Sword Marquis allowed the 3 palace masters to allow him to enter the heaven-cleaving mystic realm must be some special reason. The 3 palace masters should also take him seriously. You can also report this to the 3 palace masters. The green-haired woman said. Yes, I will go and look for the 3 palace masters now. Emotion immediately stood up and went to seek an audience with the 3 palace masters. The manor was as beautiful as a fairyland. All kinds of rare and precious beasts were scattered all over the manor. In the middle of the manor, a barefooted bald man in a white robe was sitting on a throne in a grand hall. He was laughing as he looked at the 3 people kneeling below him. The auras of these 3 people were extremely powerful, and they had all reached the peak of rank 7. However, these 3 rank 7 peak true saints had their heads buried in the ground, not daring to raise their heads to look at the bald man above them. Even though the white-robed bald man had always been laughing, and had an extremely gentle and understanding appearance, the bodies of the 3 kneeling people were trembling crazily. This trembling was because they were terrified. Go! The white-robed bald man smiled and waved his hand. The 3 rank 7 peak true saints kneeling in the main hall started to turn into nothingness without any warning. This nothingness was because the 3 of them were gradually disappearing. Even if they disappeared, the 3 rank 7 peak true saints could see their situation. Their eyes were wide open, but they could only watch helplessly as they disappeared. Soon, the 3 rank 7 peak true saints disappeared completely, as if they had never come into this world. After casually killing the 3 people in front of him, the white-robed bald man still had a warm smile on his face. At this time, a black-robed figure suddenly appeared in the main hall. After appearing, he immediately knelt down in front of the white-robed bald man. "Master, there's news about the person you ordered to find," the black-robed figure said respectfully. The white-robed bald man's expression changed and he looked down. "Speak. This is a mirror image that I just obtained from the first heaven." "Master, take a look." The black-robed figure waved his hand and a mirror image immediately appeared in the void of the hall. It was the scene of Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan fighting head-on. The white-robed bald man kept looking at the mirror image. From the beginning to the end of the fierce battle, he was smiling, and his expression did not change at all, until the mirror image disappeared. "Master, the rank 4 true saint in the image is called Heavenly Sword Marquis. He is now a heaven-level member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, and the one he killed was a rank 7 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. During this process, the secret skill that Heavenly Sword Marquis used." The black-robed figure had not finished speaking. The white-robed bald man waved his hand. "Heaven Punisher, 9 Luminaries Star Armor. If I'm not mistaken, he also used the 7 Stars secret technique. Out of the 5 secret techniques of the 7 Stars mysterious sect, he used 3 of them at the same time. Not only that, but he is also good at Sword Dao, and his combat power is shocking. A rank 4 true saint actually killed a rank 7 true saint, which is 3 ranks higher than him. Ordinary cultivators can't do it at all. Even those special life forms with huge innate advantages probably don't have the ability to do it. Only perfect chaotic creatures with the most perfect life level have the chance to do it." The smile on the white-robed bald man's face became even more dazzling and intoxicating. He possessed the secret arts of the 7-star mysterious sect, and he even had 3 of them. He was also good at sword arts. The key was that his ability to jump levels was ridiculously strong. When the 3 of them were combined, his identity was obvious. Although his appearance has changed a little, he is after all reincarnated. It is normal for him to change. Moreover, it is possible that he has been deliberately disguising himself to change his appearance. The white-robed bald man muttered softly. "In any case, there is a 99% chance that Heavenly Sword Marquis is the person we are looking for." Jian Wushuang. After confirming Jian Wushuang's identity, the white-robed bald man immediately sent a message to the other 2 masters of the Saint Realm. The 3 began to discuss. "We can confirm that Jian Wushuang is Heavenly Sword Marquis. He is now in the first heaven, and he is fighting with a sect called the Purple Cloud Pavilion. He has only lived for a few years, but he has already reached the rank 4 True Saint Realm and can surpass the rank 7 True Saint Realm. If we continue to let him grow, it won't be long before he is on par with us. Kill him. Since we know his location, we must kill him as soon as possible. Unfortunately, this kid is very cautious. He didn't reveal his life level. Otherwise, the will of heaven would have locked onto his existence and killed him instantly. The third heaven was the core of the divine beginning world, where the will of heaven was the most powerful. There was no doubt about that. However, although the will of heaven was strong, it was still impossible to find Jian Wushuang in the third heaven without Jian Wushuang revealing his life aura. I'm afraid it's not realistic to kill him with the will of heavenly Tao. We have to find him ourselves and kill him at all costs. In addition, let the Witch God sect take action. The Witch God sect's people are very strange and powerful. In the divine beginning world, no one can find a person faster than the Witch God sect. The 3 great Saint Realm Masters quickly came to a unanimous conclusion. This area was at the bottom of a huge abyss. There was no sunlight here. Everything was pitch black and pitch black. In the center of the vast and boundless dark hall, a hazy dark figure suddenly condensed on the throne. Pass down the order. Find this person called Heavenly Sword Marquis in the picture as fast as possible. Then capture him at all costs. Remember, you must capture him alive. A hoarse voice came out of the dark figure's mouth. It reverberated throughout the entire dark hall. There were at least hundreds of people kneeling in the dark hall. These hundreds of people all had extremely powerful auras and wore black robes. When they heard the dark figure's words, everyone spoke in unison. "We obey the sorcerer god's order." Their voices shook the sky and reverberated throughout the entire hall. The sorcerer god. The real ruler of the sorcerer god sect was a terrifying existence whose strength was no less than that of the three masters of the Saint Realm. No one in the sorcerer god sect dared to disobey the order given by the sorcerer god himself. However, there was something strange. When the three masters of the Saint Realm sent a message to the sorcerer god, they said that they would kill Jian Wushuang at all costs. But now, the witch god said they would capture him alive. In an extremely special space-time in the divine beginning realm, there was a huge island. The island was beautiful and incomparably quiet. In the center of the island, there was a courtyard that looked like an ordinary person's house. Beside the lake in the middle of the courtyard, a woman in red was sitting upright, quietly fishing. Suddenly, the space-time around them fluctuated, and a human figure appeared next to them. It was a middle-aged man who was over 5 meters tall and looked like a mountain. "Batsong, why are you here?" The woman in red did not even glance at the middle-aged man. She just asked casually, "I'm here to seek an audience with the hall master." The mountain-like middle-aged man, Batsong, said, "Seek an audience with the hall master?" The red-robed woman turned her head. "It's not that you don't know where the hall master is right now. Furthermore, when the hall master left, he instructed us not to bother him unless it's an urgent matter. As far as I know, nothing major has happened in the hall during this period of time." "It's true that nothing major has happened, but what happened today?" Batsong frowned. Following this, he took out a token. "You should understand after looking at this mirror image." The jade token was activated and a mirror image immediately appeared in the air. The red-robed lady also looked at the mirror image. At first, she was very calm and there was not the slightest ripple. However, after a short moment, her pupils suddenly shrank and a trace of shock flashed in the depths of her eyes. Very quickly, the image disappeared. "Now you know why I want to see the hall master, right?" Batsong asked. "I know." The red-dressed woman nodded slightly. Soon after, she stood up. "Wait a moment. I will first send a message to the hall master to see if it is convenient for him." Batsong waited there. A moment later, "All right," the red-dressed woman said, after which she took out an ancient bronze mirror. Following a few special hand seals, the surface of the bronze mirror began to ripple like a lake. Gradually, a human face was formed. This human face had the appearance of an old man that was covered in wrinkles. The old man had silver-white hair and looked extremely ancient. When they saw this human face, the red-dressed woman and Batsong immediately bowed. "Lord Palace Master, speak. What do you want from me?" The silver-white-haired old man's voice was very casual. He did not have any airs, nor did he have any high and mighty appearance. He even called himself I and looked very amiable. "Temple Master, there is a mirror image here. Please take a look." Batsong took out the mirror image again. The mirror image was the fierce battle between Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan. From the beginning to the end, it was very complete. A rank 4 true saint versus a rank 7 true saint? The silver-haired elder raised his eyebrows. When he saw that Jian Wushuang could fight with Bai Yuan in the mirror image, the silver-haired elder could not help nodding in admiration. "It's amazing that a rank 4 true saint can have such battle strength." "Temple Master, keep watching," Batsong said. In the image, it was Bai Yuan's strongest move, but he still did not hurt Jian Wushuang. At this point, the silver-haired elder still looked calm. But at this time, Jian Wushuang finally used his full strength. He directly used his killer move, Blood Azura. It was this move that made the silver-haired old man squint his eyes. "This swordsmanship is a bit interesting." The silver-haired old man revealed a faint smile. After Blood Azura was used, Jian Wushuang should have continued to use the 6 paths of reincarnation secret skill to kill Bai Yuan. But after Blood Azura used his sword, Batsong directly took back the mirror token. "Temple Master, this little guy is called Heavenly Sword Marquis. He is alone and hasn't joined any sections. He is only an ordinary heaven-level member in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, Ba Zong said. Well, this little guy is good. Send someone to bring him back immediately, the silver-haired elder said. Yes, Ba Zong nodded respectfully. And in the copper mirror, the silver-haired elder's face had already disappeared. Outside the divine beginning realm, the cosmic battlefield where danger and countless opportunities converged. This place was filled with blood and death. In the northern part of the cosmic battlefield, there was a planet that was already barren. Although this planet was already barren and on the verge of collapse, its size was inconceivable. On this planet, on a desolate land, a silver-haired old man dressed in simple clothes slowly stood up. The old man's gaze was deep, but his gaze was incomparably gentle. There was a hint of evil between his brows, and his aura was also incomparably unique. This was an extremely strange and unusual person. He actually fused the space-time divine art I created with my own sword art, creating a sword art that can cause space-time to stop. This has never happened before. Heavenly Sword Marquis. What an interesting little fellow. Even I can't help but want to meet this little fellow. The silver-haired old man sighed softly. He began to ponder in his heart. After a long while, he made up his mind. Forget it. I've been adventuring in this universe battlefield for so long. It's time for me to go back and take a look. On the way, I'll be able to meet this little fellow who surprises me and surprises me. The silver-haired elder smiled and then took 2 steps forward. These 2 steps were very casual. It seemed like a casual step, but 1 step was enough to take him out of the star, and another step would take him to the void hundreds of millions of miles away from the star. In the first heaven of the divine beginning realm, in the void of the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, Jian Wushuang flew while summarizing the battle. This battle was not only to kill Bai Yuan but also to take revenge on the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The most important thing was that he wanted to temper himself and determine his true strength. After the battle, he had a clear understanding of his strength. Now, my battle strength should be comparable to that of an ordinary initial rank 7 true saint in a head-on fight. Once I use my trump card and the 6 paths of reincarnation secret skill, an ordinary initial rank 7 true saint would find it difficult to resist and would have to be killed. If it's an advanced rank 7 or peak rank 7, I'm afraid that I can't kill them with just the extremely hot hell and the extremely cold hell of the Hell Dao. In other words, I can only fight with a rank 7 advanced true saint. If I meet someone at the peak of rank 7 or above, I can only run for my life, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. At this moment, Jian Wushuang's expression changed and he took out a token. This token was Mo Shan's communication token. Elder Mo Shan, you're looking for me? Jian Wushuang immediately replied. My dear Heavenly Marquis, I heard that you killed a rank 7 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion with your strength of a rank 4 true saint realm? That's amazing, Mo Shan said with a smile. Yes, but I was just lucky, Jian Wushuang said. Lucky? Haha. It's not possible to challenge someone 3 ranks higher, Mo Shan said. Jian Wushuang could only smile. My young friend, don't be so smug. I'm here to tell you something, Mo Shan said seriously. Please tell me, senior. Jian Wushuang was very humble. This time, the mirror image of you killing the rank 7 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion has spread everywhere in the 3rd heaven. You are indeed famous, but at the same time you have attracted the attention of countless experts. If I'm not wrong, you must have a lot of secrets, Mo Shan said in a strange voice. For example, I'm afraid that you have a lot of connections with the ancient 7-star mysterious sect. Jian Wushuang's pupils immediately shrank. My friend, you don't have to deny that you used the divine punishment skill and the 9 luminary star armor of the 7-star mysterious sect at the same time when you were fighting with the rank 7 expert of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The secret skill that can improve your realm in a short period of time should also be the 7-star secret skill of the 7-star mysterious sect. A person who possesses 3 secret skills of the 7-star mysterious sect at the same time, no matter how you explain it, you are already related to the 7-star mysterious sect, Mo Shan said. Jian Wushuang was silent. Shan had already decided on this matter, so he naturally would not quibble. The reason I sent this message to you is to tell you that the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance can see your relationship with the 7-star mysterious sect from the battle between you and the rank 7 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. So can the experts of other forces. As for the ancient 7-star mysterious sect, it used to be recognized as the overlord of the divine beginning realm, but it has been destroyed after all. Moreover, the 7-star mysterious sect has many enemies. Let's not talk about anything else. Just the 3 saint realms, which stand at the top of the 3 heavens, have a feud with the 7-star mysterious sect. Once the 3 saint realms find out about your relationship with the 7-star mysterious sect, they will definitely try to kill you, Shan said. Jian Wushuang's face was cold. Of course, he knew what Shan said, and he knew more. Once the 3 masters of the saint realm knew where he was, they would kill him at all costs. Even the 3 masters of the saint realm would come personally. After all, he was not only related to the 7-star mysterious sect but also had a deep relationship with them. Elder Shan is right. Since the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance can determine my identity through the mirror images of my battle, the 3 masters of the saint realm must be able to do the same. As expected, the 3 masters of the saint realm in the 3 saint realms already know that I have arrived at the 3rd heaven and am now in the 1st heaven. I'm afraid they have already ordered experts to come and kill me, Jian Wushuang thought. Of course, although he knew this, Jian Wushuang was not afraid at all. Since he had decided to come to the 3rd heaven, he was prepared to reveal his identity and be hunted down by the 3 saint realms. After all, he was going to reach the peak of the divine beginning world. The path to the peak was full of obstacles. It was impossible for him to grow to the peak quietly and peacefully. He had to rise through the slaughter, and since he wanted to kill, it was inevitable for his reputation to spread. Therefore, he had already expected the current situation, but he did not expect it to come so quickly. My heavenly sword marquis friend, your talent is extremely high, and my heaven-cleaving alliance also holds you in high regard. After I found out that you are related to the 7-star mysterious sect, I immediately went to see the 3 palace masters of my heaven-cleaving alliance. The 3 palace masters also made a decision to make an exception for you and invite you to join the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces for the 3rd time. As long as you join the 3 palaces, you can cultivate in the heaven-cleaving star in the future. The heaven-cleaving alliance will do its best to protect you and won't let the 3 saint realms touch you at all, Shan said solemnly. According to the rules of the 3 palaces, a genius could only be invited twice. If the other party rejected both invitations, the 3 palaces would not invite him a 3rd time. But this time, the 3 palace masters were willing to make an exception for Jian Wushuang, just as they had made an exception for Jian Wushuang to enter the heaven-cleaving mystic realm. From this, it could be seen how much the 3 palace masters valued Jian Wushuang. However, after hearing Shan's words, Jian Wushuang thought for a moment and still shook his head. Elder Shan, please thank the 3 palace masters for my kindness, but it's better not to join the 3 palaces of heaven-cleaving mystic realm. My young friend, do you still want to refuse? Shan asked with a strange expression. I've been to the heaven-cleaving star and seen many genius disciples of the 3 palaces. I found that most of them are only at the 1st, 2nd, and rank 3 true saints. There are not many rank 4 true saints, and there are even fewer true saints above rank 5. Obviously, most of the opportunities in the 3 palaces are only useful to low-level true saints. But after reaching rank 4 or 5, the effects of those opportunities will be less and less. I'm already a rank 4 ultimate true saint, and I'm almost a rank 5 true saint. My battle strength is comparable to a rank 7 true saint. With my strength, even if I joined the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces, it would be difficult for me to get another great opportunity. If I go to the heaven-cleaving star to cultivate, at most, I can only have a temporary shelter. But even if I can hide on the heaven-cleaving star, I definitely can't hide forever. So, I'd better go on my own, Jian Wushuang said. After hearing Jian Wushuang's words, Shan, who was on the other end of the token, was silent for a while. Then he said, sure enough, the 3 palace masters guessed right. You won't join the heaven-cleaving alliance again, so they have a backup plan. Backup plan. Jian Wushuang was stunned. My young friend, you go to the nearest mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance first. When you get there, send me a message. I'll come to see you in person, Emoshan said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded. Immediately, Jian Wushuang followed Emoshan's instructions and went to the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, which was closest to him. After arriving at the mystic realm, Jian Wushuang sent a message to Emoshan, who then rushed over through the space passage. In a separate secret room, Jian Wushuang and Emoshan sat opposite each other at a table. My friend, the three palace masters said that if you don't want to join the three palaces, they want me to give you two things, Emoshan said. Which two things? Jian Wushuang was confused. Emoshan flipped his hand and took out a purple bamboo leaf. Other than its color, this bamboo leaf looked no different from an ordinary bamboo leaf at first glance. However, if one were to carefully sense it, one would be able to sense the obscure energy fluctuations contained within the bamboo leaf. This purple bamboo leaf is very impressive. The three palace masters have said that you must take good care of it. In the future, if you encounter a real desperate situation where there is no chance of survival, you can take it out and burn it. By then, as long as you are in the divine beginning realm, this bamboo leaf should be able to save your life, Emoshan said. When Jian Wushuang heard this, he was extremely shocked. As long as he was in the divine beginning realm, the purple bamboo leaf could save his life no matter what kind of danger he encountered. These words were said by the three palace masters of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. How could this bamboo leaf be so amazing? How could the three palace masters give such a precious life-saving item to me? Jian Wushuang asked in surprise. He really could not figure it out. If it was just an exception that allowed him to enter the heaven-cleaving mystic realm, it was probably because of his talent. But now, such a precious life-saving item was probably not available to the most outstanding genius disciples of the three palaces. Even the personal disciples of the three palace masters probably did not have such treatment. But now, the three palace masters had given such a precious item to him. What is the reason? Jian Wushuang was very confused, but he could not ask until he saw the three palace masters. He would not know if he asked Emoshan. My young friend, put away this bamboo leaf first. Emoshan handed the purple bamboo leaf to Jian Wushuang with a hint of envy in his eyes. It was a super treasure that could save one's life in any place in the divine beginning world. Of course, Emoshan envied it. Even a principal's master like him was not qualified to have such a life-saving treasure. But Jian Wushuang had it. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and did not refuse. Instead, he carefully put the purple bamboo leaf back into his interspatial ring. In addition to the purple bamboo leaf, these two beads were also given to you by the three palace masters. Emoshan took out two more beads. One of the two beads was red, while the other was crystal clear. However, the moment Emoshan took them out, Jian Wushuang immediately sensed the shocking power contained in the two beads. What are these? Jian Wushuang looked at the two pearls in shock. One of these two pearls was personally refined by Palace Master Azura, and the other one was personally refined by Palace Master Shueyun. These two pearls contain the power of two Palace Masters. Although the power cannot be compared to the power of the two Palace Masters at their peak, with your guidance, it should be easy for me to kill a Principal's Master with one pearl, Emoshan said. The power in this pearl can allow me to kill Principal's Masters easily? Jian Wushuang's eyes widened. The Principal's Masters I'm talking about usually have opened mystic realms and are stronger. However, if they are weaker and haven't even opened mystic realms, they can easily kill 2 or 3 Principal's Masters with this pearl. Even if they have immortal bodies, they won't survive. Emoshan was very confident. Of course, he was not confident in himself, but in the 3 Palace Masters. Among the 3 Palace Masters of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, each of them stood at the peak of the divine beginning realm. Each of them was terrifyingly powerful. Any one of them could easily slaughter the Principal's Masters. Although the special beads they refined only contained a part of their power, they could be used to kill 1 or 2 ordinary Principal's Masters. Of course, there would be no problem. These 2 beads were given to you by the 3 Palace Masters in case you need them, Emoshan said. Jian Wushuang did not know what to say. Previously, he had given the purple bamboo leaf as an incredible life-saving item. Now, he had been given 2 beads that could kill an ordinary principles master. The 3 palace masters of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were too kind to him? Elder Emotion, you won't be rewarded without merit. These things… Jian Wushuang had not finished his sentence. Don't refuse. Emotion waved his hand. The 3 palace masters have already given these things to me. They gave them to me personally. There's no reason for me to take them back. If you refuse, it'll be a disgrace to the 3 palace masters. I'm afraid the 3 palace masters won't be happy, Emotion said. Jian Wushuang was speechless. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to accept the 2 beads. As Emotion had said, since the 3 palace masters had decided to give him something, it would be disgracing the 3 palace masters if he did not accept it as a true saint. Moreover, he was in a bad situation. He needed some trump cards that could save his life or kill the enemy. The purple bamboo leaf and the 2 pearls were given to him by the 3 palace masters were of great use to him. My young friend, I have given them to you according to the instructions of the 3 palace masters. As for what happens next, you will have to rely on yourself. Of course, if you encounter any problems or troubles in the future, you can send me a message. I will not refuse to help you if I can, Emotion said. Thank you, Elder Emotion. Jian Wushuang was extremely grateful. Emotion nodded slightly and then left. After Emotion left, Jian Wushuang still had not completely calmed down. What exactly is the reason for the 3 palace masters of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance to treat me so well? Is it because of the 7 stars mysterious sect? Or is it because of my perfect chaotic creature? Or is there really a relationship between the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and my master? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. The 7-star mysterious sect was once the indisputable overlord of the divine beginning world. It was normal for them to have some connection with the First Freedom Alliance of the divine beginning world. As for his perfect chaotic creature physique, it was unacceptable to the heavenly Tao. From the name of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, it could be seen that they wanted to conquer heaven. As for his master, as the first perfect chaotic creature, he also created a powerful secret skill, Heaven-Cleaving Technique. From the name of the Heaven-Cleaving Technique and the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, it was very normal that there was a relationship between the two. Jian Wushuang thought that all of these reasons were possible, but he did not know which one. Whatever. In short, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is a friend and not an enemy to me. That's enough. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly and then began to plan the path he would take next. I wanted to have a good fight with the Purple Cloud Pavilion in this territory, but now it seems that it won't work, Jian Wushuang thought. The 3 Saint Realms had already known of his existence, so they would immediately send a large number of experts to kill him. If he stayed in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, he would be courting death. I must leave immediately and hide my identity. I must never use the name of Heavenly Sword Marquis again. Jian Wushuang had a clear plan in his heart. He immediately set off. In the dark void and the dark earth, there was an ancient altar in the center. The altar was covered with all kinds of strange secret patterns. A skinny hunchbacked old man in a black robe stood there with a black snakehead walking stick, looking down at the mysterious runes under his feet. At this moment, whoosh, 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 several figures flew over from the void and landed on the altar in the blink of an eye. Lord Prophet. The leading woman in black bowed before speaking respectfully. The hunchbacked old man holding the snake-headed walking stick raised his head and glanced at the black-robed woman. Is there something the matter? We are here under the orders of the sorcerer god. We would like to ask you to help us find a rank 4 true saint named Heavenly Sword Marquis, the black-robed woman said. Find someone. The hunchbacked old man's turbid gaze narrowed slightly. It's just a name. Even the power of the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao will probably not be able to find it, right? Of course, it's not just a name. The black-robed woman smiled. She then waved her hand, and a black-robed man walked up from behind her. Greetings, Lord Prophet. This black-robed man was only a rank 4 true saint. When he faced the black-robed woman, he was already trembling. Now, in front of this hunchbacked old man, he was even more terrified. After all, the hunchbacked old man was a legendary super-existence. In the sorcerer god sect, his status was second only to the sorcerer god. Prophet, this man has met Heavenly Sword Marquis once, and he has a deep impression of him, the black-robed woman said. This black-robed man was one of the few rank 4 true saints who had participated in the assassination of Xianxia. At that time, they mainly wanted to assassinate Xianxia, but they met Jian Wushuang, so naturally, they did not succeed. Is that so? The hunchbacked elder nodded slightly. Then he immediately looked at the black-robed man, who was only a rank 4 true saint, and a strange power swept out. My lord, what are you doing? The black-robed man, who was a rank 4 true saint, was shocked. Don't resist, the hunchbacked elder shouted in a low voice, but the strange power had already surged into the black-robed man's body. No! The black-robed man let out a mournful howl, but his expression quickly calmed down and his eyes closed. I've already found the memory of Heavenly Sword Marquis, the hunchbacked old man said. At the same time, the life force of the rank 4 true saint was completely cut off. His body fell down powerlessly. No one cared about the death of this rank 4 true saint. The black-robed woman looked at the hunchbacked old man expectantly. Lord Prophet, Lord Sorcerer God places great importance on Heavenly Sword Marquis. Can you use this person's memory to find Heavenly Sword Marquis location? Let's give it a try, the hunchbacked old man said and then closed his eyes. The black-robed woman knew that the hunchbacked old man was already using his technique, so she did not dare to disturb him. After a moment, the hunchbacked old man's eyes suddenly opened, and a trace of shock flashed through his eyes. Following that, with a pew sound, a large mouthful of blood was suddenly spat out, and the aura on his body instantly became extremely weak. Lord Prophet? What exactly is going on? The black-clothed woman was also greatly shocked and hurriedly asked. The hunchbacked old man raised his head, but his gaze was extremely cold. The expression on his face was also uncertain. Let me ask you, who is the Heavenly Sword Marquis that the old sorcerer god is looking for? The hunchbacked old man said coldly. This, I don't know either, but from the orders given by the Lord Sorcerer God, he should place great importance on this Heavenly Sword Marquis. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked me to invite you, Lord Prophet, the black-robed woman said carefully. Humph! The hunchbacked elder snorted and said, That old guy is so easy. Just give me a command, and I'll be in trouble. Sir Prophet, what are you? The black-clothed woman was puzzled. The Heavenly Sword Marquis you're looking for has an extraordinary background. I used the path of fate to search for him based on the memory of the rank 4 true saint just now, but I actually suffered a backlash from the principles of fate. Not only did I suffer a serious injury, but from now on, I won't be able to use the power of the principles of fate for 100,000 years, the hunchbacked elder said. What? The black-clothed woman was shocked. The law of fate. If ordinary cultivators, including Jian Wushuang, heard this word, they would be extremely puzzled. Therefore, in their understanding, the principles of heaven and earth did not have the so-called principles of fate. But in fact, the principles of fate existed. It was just that, in the divine beginning world, almost no one cultivated it, so ordinary cultivators were naturally not qualified to come into contact with it. And this hunchbacked old man, who was also the Lord Prophet that the black-clothed woman mentioned, was a super expert who specialized in the principles of fate. My usage of the laws of fate has long reached the peak of perfection. In addition, by chance, I obtained a unique secret technique of the principles of fate in the cosmic battlefield. With the clear fate within, it's easy to find a person's trace. Even if I were to find some special life forms or some top existences in the world, I wouldn't have to endure the backlash of the laws of fate, or the backlash would be very light. However, the backlash this time is something that I have never encountered before. Therefore, this person called Heavenly Sword Marquis definitely has an unfathomable background and identity. No wonder the old sorcerer god placed so much importance on him, said the hunchbacked old man. Has the prophet found the location of Heavenly Sword Marquis? The black-clothed woman asked carefully. The hunchbacked old man glanced at the black-clothed lady. Immediately, he flipped his hand and took out a command talisman. This command talisman was a blood-colored command talisman. It contained an extremely strange energy and was extremely unique. Take this command talisman and follow the guidance within it. You will naturally be able to find the heavenly sword marquee. However, you must remember that you only have one chance. If you fail to succeed this time around, it will be impossible for you to rely on me to find his location in the future. The hunchbacked old man said. The black-robed woman took the token, but she was overjoyed. Thank you, Lord Prophet, the black-robed woman said gratefully. Go. Tell the old sorcerer god to stop bothering me for the next 100,000 years. The hunchbacked old man waved his hand impatiently. Beneath the huge abyss for figures suddenly rushed out. These 4 people were 3 men and 1 woman. The woman was the black-clothed woman who had just met the hunchbacked old man. The prophet. The 3 of you, I've already given you the token. I'll leave the heavenly sword marquee to you, the black-clothed woman said. The 3 of them looked at each other, and one of the red-haired handsome men grinned. Don't worry, he's just a rank 4 true saint. Any one of us is more than enough. This time, the 3 of us attacking together are already looking up to him. He definitely won't be able to escape from the 3 of us. The other 2 were also extremely confident. Not to mention a rank 4 true saint, even a rank 7 peak true saint or an invincible saint was nothing to them. One had to know that the 3 of them were all true principles masters. Moreover, they were not ordinary principles masters. Not only were they powerful, but they all also had their own unique methods. With the 3 of them working together, they could even try to surround and kill ordinary principles masters. Could a rank 4 true saint escape? That's for the best, but we still have to be careful. After all, we only have one chance. If we let him escape this time, the prophet will not be able to find his position again. Also, you have heard Lord Sorcerer God's orders. You are not here to kill Heavenly Sword Marquis, but to capture him alive. Remember, you have to capture him alive. If you accidentally kill him, Lord Sorcerer God will be furious. At that time, the 3 of you will also be buried with him, the black-robed woman warned. Don't worry, we will remember. The red-haired handsome man laughed. And then the 3 principles masters set off. A month later, at the first heaven. In the center of the dense ancient forest, there was a huge mountain, and above the mountain there was an ancient castle. This ancient castle was called the Mountain Thunder Castle. Wang! A light breeze blew past, and 3 figures silently appeared in the surrounding void. These 3 people were the 3 principles masters who had rushed over from the sorcerer god sect. Is that little fellow called Heavenly Sword Marquis hiding in the ancient castle ahead? One of the brown-haired youths asked. According to the command talisman, this is the place. However, there are quite a few cultivators in this castle. We need to spend some effort to find him later. The red-haired handsome man held the blood-colored command talisman in his hand. He was sensing the fluctuations of the blood-colored command talisman. Since we've already confirmed the location, let's make our move. Void Lord, let's make our move, the brown-haired youth said. The last one was called Void Lord, and he was an evil-looking old man with a strange aura. Hearing the brown-haired youth's words, the evil-looking old man gave a strange smile, and then a strange energy fluctuation rose from his body. Inside the Mountain Lightning Castle. All of you wait here obediently. In a while, the Lord will come to see you. If you're lucky, you can follow the Lord and work for him. Not only will you get a lot of benefits, but you'll also have a lot of room to grow in the future. If you're unlucky and the Lord doesn't like you, the Lord will probably kill you. Humph! A middle-aged man wearing purple armor and emitting the aura of a rank 7 true saint looked down at the dozen or so cultivators in front of him. The strength of these 10 or so cultivators were all different. The weaker ones were rank 1 and rank 2 true saints, while the stronger ones were rank 3 and rank 4 true saints. However, at this moment, these 10 or so cultivators all had a trace of fear and trepidation in their hearts. Brother Han, our luck is really bad. We actually ran into the mountain lightning fort, a white-haired, thin old man softly praised. The mountain thunder castle is infamous in this territory. It's said that the castle master of the mountain lightning castle is an immortal saint whose strength has reached an invincible level. Moreover, this mountain thunder castle master has a very strange temper. He likes people to serve him. Therefore, he often abducts cultivators to his castle and then forcibly forces these cultivators to serve him. If we're lucky, we can be freed in just a few decades. However, if we're unlucky, we might not be able to obtain freedom even if we serve him for tens of thousands of years. We're just passing by this territory, and we actually ran into the mountain thunder castle. We're really unlucky. As the white-haired old man spoke, the surrounding people were also dejected. Obviously, they had all heard of the fierce name of the mountain thunder castle master. And the person that the white-haired old man called Brother Han was a fierce man with a beard and a saber on his back. Not only was the tough man tough, but his aura was also violent and violent. Hearing the white-haired elder's words, the tough man frowned on the surface, but in his heart, he just smiled bitterly. My luck is really bad. I just wanted to randomly mingle with a team and wander around for a few decades. I didn't expect that the team I just joined would encounter people from the Mountain Thunder Castle and be forced to come here. That's right, the tough man was Jian Wushuang, who had disguised himself well. He had left the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion long ago. In order to avoid the pursuit of the three Saint Realms, he had disguised himself and kept a low profile. He just wanted to stay quiet for a while and then find another way. He didn't expect to meet such big trouble not long after he joined the team. The Mountain Thunder Castle had an invincible saint guarding it. Do I really have to cultivate in the Mountain Thunder Castle for a while and listen to the orders of the Lord of the Mountain Thunder Castle? Jian Wushuang frowned. While Jian Wushuang was deep in thought, buzz! A majestic power suddenly exploded outside the Mountain Thunder Castle. This power swept in all directions with shocking momentum. In the blink of an eye, the entire Mountain Thunder Fort and the surrounding void were covered by this power, and the cultivators in the Mountain Thunder Castle were immediately shocked. What's going on? What's going on? The cultivators in the Mountain Thunder Castle were all at a loss. Jian Wushuang's pupils suddenly shrank. Is this space-time seal? And it's so powerful. Although Jian Wushuang was still in the Mountain Thunder Castle, he could feel how powerful the power was. Even he was terrified by the power. Without a doubt, the power was used to seal the void. It must be a very terrifying expert or even a principal's master. I can directly seal the time and space. Is there a strong enemy coming to the Mountain Thunder Castle? Or is it coming to me? Jian Wushuang frowned. I left the Purple Cloud Pavilion territory as fast as I could. I disguised myself and didn't attack again. Even if the three Saint Realms have extraordinary means, they shouldn't be able to find me. This time, the strong enemy should be coming to the Mountain Thunder Castle. Jian Wushuang thought. Such a huge power directly sealed the space-time around the Mountain Thunder Fort, creating a shocking disturbance. Naturally, the Lord of the Mountain Thunder Fort was the first to be alarmed. Who is it? Who dares to seal the space-time around my Mountain Thunder Fort? A low shout suddenly exploded in the world. Following that, a figure rushed out from the depths of the earth and appeared in the void outside the Mountain Thunder Fort. A green-clothed Mountain Thunder Fort master with long hair fluttering in the wind had an aura that had reached the limit of a true saint. He was a genuine invincible saint, and his strength was extremely tyrannical. However, when he appeared in the void outside and saw the three figures at the end of his line of sight, the Mountain Thunder Fort master's face instantly turned extremely pale. Principal's master? And there are a total of 3 of them? Mountain Thunder Fort master stared at the 3 principal's masters in front of him in great astonishment, feeling his head rumbling. Although he was indeed an invincible saint could only be invincible among the immortal saints. However, compared to a true principal's master, he was far, far inferior. Mountain Thunder Fort master had some confidence in his own strength, however. This confidence had not reached the point where he dared to face a principal's master head-on. What's more, there were 3 principal's masters in front of him. Mountain Thunder pays his respects to the three lords. May I know why the three lords have come? The Lord of the Mountain Thunder Fort said respectfully. Mountain Thunder? The three principals masters stared at Mountain Thunder with interest. They had never heard of the name Mountain Thunder. As for the strength of that invincible saint Mountain Thunder, they did not put him in their eyes at all. My lords, my master is the Lord of Thunderbugs. He has quite a bit of contact with some of the major figures of the three great saints. If Mountain Thunder has offended you in any way, I hope that you will spare him on account of my master. The Lord of Mountain Thunder Fort lowered his head. His attitude was extremely low. He had no idea why these three principals masters had come. But since they had already come and sealed spacetime, they definitely were not just passing by casually. Thus, Mountain Thunder Fort Master had brought out his backer from the very beginning. He, Mountain Thunder Fort Master, had been able to roam freely in the first heaven for so long and had been doing whatever he wanted. He was still alive and well, not only because he was strong, but also because his backer, the Thunderbug Master, was really amazing. He was quite famous in the divine beginning world. The Thunderbug Master? The three principals masters looked at each other and could not help but smile. They did know the Thunderbug Master. After all, the Sorcerer God sect had a close relationship with the three holy regions, and the Thunderbug Master had a good relationship with the three holy regions. The three of us didn't come here for you. Moreover, the three of us will give your master some face. So as long as you listen to us, we won't make things difficult for you and your Mountain Thunder Fort, said the handsome red-haired man. Thank you, my lords. What can I do for you? The Mountain Thunder Fort Lord immediately became attentive. The three of us came here to find a person. If nothing unexpected happens, this person will hide in your Mountain Thunder Fort. How about this, you ask everyone in the Mountain Thunder Fort to come out first? The red-haired handsome man said. Yes, my lords. Please wait a moment. The Mountain Thunder Fort Lord immediately gave the order for all the cultivators in the Mountain Thunder Fort to come out. The Mountain Thunder Fort was very big, and there were many cultivators in it. Most of them were captured alive by this Mountain Thunder Fort Lord. Now, under the orders of the Mountain Thunder Fort Lord, these cultivators all appeared in the void in front of the ancient castle. There were actually thousands of cultivators standing there densely. So many people? The red-haired handsome man frowned. Although the three of them could sense the general location of the heavenly sword marquee from the blood-red talisman they got from the prophet, they could not find him. Now they followed their senses and came to the Mountain Thunder Fort. However, there were so many cultivators in the Mountain Thunder Fort, so they could only slowly search for him. I saw the scene of Heavenly Sword Marquis fighting. His realm is only at the rank 4 True Saint realm. Even if he used a secret technique, he could only reach the rank 5 True Saint realm. The red-haired handsome man pondered for a moment. Then he ordered, tell all the rank 4 and rank 5 True Saints to step forward. Yes. The Mountain Thunder Fort Master nodded. Under his order, all the cultivators of the Mountain Thunder Fort who had reached the rank 4 and rank 5 True Saint stepped forward. There were nearly 100 cultivators of the rank 4 and rank 5 of Mountain Thunder Fort, including Jian Wushuang, who had disguised himself as a tough man. Something's wrong. Jian Wushuang stood in the crowd and narrowed his eyes. At first, he thought that the strong enemies were here to cause trouble for the Mountain Thunder Fort, but now it seemed that they were not. They are not here to cause trouble for the Mountain Thunder Fort, but to find someone in the Mountain Thunder Fort, and the person they are looking for is between a rank 4 and a rank 5 True Saint. There are 3 principals masters who have personally taken action and used great means to directly seal space and time. With such a big arm, they are just looking for a rank 4 or rank 5 True Saint. Are they really here to find me? Jian Wushuang was also nervous. All of you, step forward one by one. The red-haired handsome man held a scarlet token in his hand and coldly glanced at the nearly 100 rank 4 and 5 True Saints in front of him. These rank 4 and 5 True Saints did not dare to disobey him at all and immediately stepped forward one by one. The red-haired handsome man held the scarlet token in his hand and tested them one by one. As a result, the scarlet token did not change at all when the rank 4 or 5 cultivators passed by. After dozens of cultivators passed by, it was finally Jian Wushuang's turn. I hope they are not looking for me, or else I'll be in big trouble, Jian Wushuang muttered in his heart. On the surface, he took a deep breath and slowly walked toward the three principal's masters in front of him. Just as he walked to the red-haired handsome man, the result was buzz. The blood-red token in the red-haired handsome man's hand suddenly burst with blood light. A large amount of blood light even showed signs of covering Jian Wushuang. What? Jian Wushuang's face suddenly changed. It's him. Countless cultivators in the Mountain Thunder Fort, including the Mountain Thunder Fort Master, also locked their eyes on Jian Wushuang. Haha! I finally found you, Heavenly Sword Marquis. The red-haired handsome man also stared at Jian Wushuang with burning eyes and laughed. Damn it! They really came for me. Jian Wushuang's face had become extremely ugly. As for the many cultivators in Mountain Thunder Fort, they were all shocked when they heard the red-haired handsome man call out his name. Heavenly Sword Marquis? Which Heavenly Sword Marquis? Could it be Heavenly Sword Marquis, who killed a rank 7 true saint in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion? That big monster. It's him. It must be him. Only such a monster would provoke the three principal's masters to come here personally. He's Heavenly Sword Marquis? The crowd immediately became noisy, and countless people looked at Jian Wushuang with shock and admiration. The white-haired elder and the others, who had previously called Jian Wushuang Brother Han, were even more stunned. Heavenly Sword Marquis? Mountain Thunder Fort Master stared at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. He's Heavenly Sword Marquis? How could he come to our Mountain Thunder Fort? Mountain Thunder Fort Master was a genuine invincible saint with a high level of knowledge. When he saw the mirror image of Jian Wushuang fighting with Bai Yuan, he was amazed that Jian Wushuang was an incredible genius. No one in the entire divine beginning world could compare to him. But now, this super genius had sneaked into his Mountain Thunder Fort? The Lord of Mountain Thunder Fort was also shocked. You should be from the three saint realms, right? Jian Wushuang stared at the three rule masters with a gloomy face and said, I want to know how you found us. Ha. Boy, you have underestimated this world. You have underestimated the skills of the cultivators in this world. Yes, after you left the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, you were very careful and did not attack again. You even deliberately disguised your appearance. It is difficult for ordinary people to find you, but we have a special way to find you so that you can't escape. The red-haired handsome man chuckled. Besides, the three of us don't have much to do with the three saint realms. As for our origins, you'll know after a while. As for now, you'd better come with us. Come with you? I'm sorry. I have no interest in going with you. Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. As soon as he finished speaking, a majestic power swept up from his body. Came from the ruler seal. The ruler seal ruled over space and time. At this moment, Jian Wushuang was using the ruler seal with all his strength in an attempt to regain control of the surrounding area. However, the power of the ruler seal had been fully exerted by Jian Wushuang. The formation of the ruler seal had also swept up, but it could not affect the surrounding space and time at all. I can't even move it at all? Jian Wushuang's expression changed. Since he had obtained the ruler seal from Shuebei, he had used it many times. The power of the ruler seal had never disappointed him. Today, facing the three rule masters, he knew that his strength could not contend with them, so he wanted to use the ruler seal to regain control of the surrounding space-time and then escape. However, he did not expect that the power of the ruler seal could not affect the space-time he was in. Haha! He is indeed capable. The wicked and charming elder Void Master, who was one of the three principal's masters, let out a cold laugh. The treasure he just used should also be a space-time treasure, and it is not ordinary. Although it has not reached the level of a holy treasure, it should be a top-tier holy treasure. Boy, you have a lot of good treasures. Unfortunately, they are useless. The red-haired handsome man sneered, but his eyes were full of disdain as he looked at Jian Wushuang. You only used the top-tier holy treasure, but the one that can completely seal the space and time around you is the Void Master next to me. He used a genuine supreme treasure that can seal the space and time. You are a rank 4 true saint. How can you use a top-tier holy treasure as compared to a supreme treasure driven by a principles master? Jian Wushuang frowned. No wonder he could not move at all. It turned out that the wicked old man was using a holy treasure. Heavenly Sword Marquis, no matter what, you're only a rank 4 true saint. Although you can compete with a rank 7 true saint, you're no different from an ant in front of the three of us. If you follow us obediently, you'll suffer less. Otherwise, the brown-haired young man's eyes turned cold. Jian Wushuang merely snorted and did not say anything. However, the Blood Mountain sword had already appeared in his hand. He had used all his secret skills, allowing his strength to reach his peak. However, even in his peak condition, Jian Wushuang was not confident that he could face the three principles masters in front of him. You are so stubborn. Xianxia, I'll leave it to you. Remember not to kill him. Don't kill him by accident. Just seriously injure him or put him into a deep sleep so that we can bring him back, the red-haired handsome man said. Xianxia was the brown-haired young man. Hearing the red-haired handsome man's words, he nodded and then looked directly at Jian Wushuang. At this moment, a terrifying power was silently coming toward Jian Wushuang. This power was soul power. Facing a principles master, Jian Wushuang had no ability to resist at all. In an instant, the powerful soul power entered his sea of consciousness and instantly shattered the exquisite pagoda that had been protecting his real soul. Then, it heavily hit Jian Wushuang's real soul. Jian Wushuang's real soul was severely injured and 90% of it was destroyed in an instant. Less than 10% of his soul power remained. Logically speaking, if a cultivator's real soul suffered such a serious injury, even if he did not die, his soul would fall into a deep sleep and it would take a long time for him to wake up again. Xianxia's goal was to make Jian Wushuang's soul fall into a deep sleep. He could have destroyed Jian Wushuang's soul directly, but he held back at the last moment. That's enough. Xianxia spoke. He was very satisfied with his result, and he also thought that Jian Wushuang would fall into a deep sleep immediately. However, Jian Wushuang, who was standing in front of him, suddenly opened his eyes and shot toward Xianxia with a fierce light in his eyes. What? Xianxia was stunned. What's going on? The red-haired handsome man and the demonic elder did not understand either. I don't know. I just used a soul attack and destroyed more than 90% of his soul. If I'm not mistaken, his soul must have fallen into a deep sleep. But now, I can't see any damage to his soul, let alone a deep sleep. Xianxia frowned. Did he just swallow a treasure or elixir that can restore his soul power in the shortest amount of time? Impossible! No matter how amazing a treasure or elixir was, there would always be a process of recovering one's soul power. However, he had instantly recovered his soul power. This kind of effect was definitely not something that ordinary treasures or elixirs could achieve. Moreover, we didn't see him take out any treasures or medicinal elixirs, the red-haired handsome man said hurriedly. That's right. I was able to clearly sense that this kid's soul had indeed suffered heavy injuries, but it recovered in an instant. At the same time that his soul power recovered, his divine power seemed to have weakened slightly, the bewitching old man said. His divine power weakened a bit? Xianxia was startled. Could it be that he only used a bit of divine power to completely repair the damage to his soul? Just like the immortal body. Immortal body? The red-haired handsome man and the demonic old man looked at each other in dismay. Both of them had a hint of shock. Immortal bodies could be controlled by any true Saint Realm cultivator. However, having an immortal body did not mean that one was truly immortal. At the very least, an immortal body had no effect in the face of soul attacks. If a person's soul was directly destroyed, it would be useless to have an immortal body. This was common knowledge of the heavenly Tao. But now, if Jian Wushuang's soul power could be restored instantly by his own divine power, just like the immortal body of a cultivator, it would be too incredible. Although it's incredible, this may be the only explanation. This kid's immortal body can even restore his soul. Xianxia's eyes flashed with a fierce light. No wonder the sorcerer god paid so much attention to him and told us to capture him alive. Since the soul attack is ineffective, Let's suppress him. The red-haired handsome man stared at Jian Wushuang with cold eyes. Then he suddenly waved his hand. A bright golden light suddenly illuminated the world. In the void in front of Jian Wushuang, a huge golden palace appeared out of thin air. After the golden palace appeared, it floated directly above Jian Wushuang. Then, a terrifying power suddenly pressed down. Is this a suppression treasure? Jian Wushuang's face darkened. He could feel the terrifying suppression power coming from the golden palace. The suppressive force was so strong that it should be a suppression-type true treasure. A suppression-type true treasure was controlled by a principles master. Its power was so terrifying that no principles master could resist it. Jian Wushuang also felt great pressure in the golden palace. He looked solemn and clenched his teeth. He was holding a red bead in his hand. This bead, it was one of the 2 beads Emotion had given him. It was personally refined by Palace Master Azura, one of the 3 Palace Masters of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Once the power of the bead was activated, it was enough to easily kill an ordinary Principles Master. Under the pressure of the suppression-type Supreme Treasure, Jian Wushuang had the idea of activating the bead. But at this moment, Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly changed. No, this palace can't suppress me. Jian Wushuang stood there, allowing the terrifying power in the palace to sweep toward him. However, although the suppression power was extremely powerful, it did not affect Jian Wushuang much. How is this possible? The red-haired handsome man was stunned. My sealed temple was obtained from an ancient ruin. Although it's only a primary true treasure, it's still the best among the primary true treasures. Its suppressive power is very impressive. But now, under the control of me, the Principles Master, it can't even suppress a mere rank for true saint. The red-haired handsome man's face was full of disbelief. He had already realized that his seal temple could not suppress Jian Wushuang. It was not because he could not unleash the power of the seal temple, but because his opponent's level was too high and the seal temple could not suppress him. But Jian Wushuang was only a rank 4 true saint? It's not because of his realm strength, but other reasons that the seal temple could not suppress him. The red-haired handsome man frowned. He was right. Although Jian Wushuang was only a rank 4 true saint, he was the only perfect chaotic creature in the divine beginning realm. His level of life was too high. It had long surpassed the realm of the divine beginning realm. Even the will of the heavenly Tao could not suppress such a high-level life. Even if the seal temple was controlled by the Principles Master himself, it would not be able to suppress Jian Wushuang. He definitely would not be able to suppress Jian Wushuang. This kid is only a rank 4 true saint, but he is so difficult to deal with. His soul attacks and suppression methods are completely useless against him. The red-haired handsome man's expression was unsightly. He said in a low voice, "Suppression methods are useless, and he can rely on divine power to repair his soul attacks. In that case, we can only force him to destroy his divine power again and again, consume his divine power, and let his divine power run out. When he is unable to recover his soul power, we can ask you to put his soul to sleep." Okay. Xianxia nodded. In that case, I'll do it myself. The demonic elder laughed strangely, and then he suddenly moved. Whoosh! A cold aura swept over, and Jian Wushuang could not see the demonic elder clearly. Swish! A dark saber light silently stabbed toward Jian Wushuang's chest. So fast! It's too fast! Jian Wushuang was stunned. He had no room to fight back. Chi! The dark saber light stabbed Jian Wushuang's chest and instantly broke the golden armor on his body. Then the saber light stabbed Jian Wushuang's heart. Buzz, buzz, Jian Wushuang's body trembled and then collapsed. The Principles Master had attacked him personally. With a casual attack, Jian Wushuang could not withstand it, and his divine body directly collapsed. However, in an instant Jian Wushuang's divine body reassembled again. The demonic elder let out a cold laugh and then attacked again and again. Chi! 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 One after another, demonic and incredibly fast saber lights attacked Jian Wushuang again and again. Although Jian Wushuang had extraordinary strength, He had no room to display his strength in front of the demonic elder. He was hit by the demonic elder's vital points time and time again, and every time he was hit, his divine body would immediately collapse. In just a short while, Jian Wushuang's divine body had collapsed 17 times and replenished 17 times. Under normal circumstances, a true saint's divine body would be at its limit after 5 or 6 reconstitution. His divine power would be exhausted, but Jian Wushuang,